Well, good afternoon. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 excuse me, is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice or watching me on any social media stream, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. And I'm your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. The devil and all his minions are a liar today. My voice is cracking up. I can't find things that I'm looking for. Just foolishness. I pulled it up. I pulled it up. I pulled it up. So good afternoon, all of you. Friday was amazing. I had such a good time meeting so many of you, talking to so many of you. You know, for the first time, putting faces to names. You all came up. WURD had their Back to the Real World opening session, is what I'd like to call it, this past Friday at Fresh Grocer on Monument Road. And some of the WURD hosts showed up. Tiffany Bacon hosted live. And we were there, myself, Solomon Jones, Nick Taliaferra, Kuwaisa Kuwaisa was there. Kuwaisa was there. Brianna, my producer, content producer, and Sarita Martin. Troy was there. Eric was there. And so we had an amazing time. I mean, I was hugging people. So many of you made me cry. Cry real tears because, you know, when you're sitting here in front of the microphone every day and you're not really sure how the people are receiving what you have to say, or even if they're receiving it at all, it is a beautiful thing to show up and hear that the words that you're imparting every day is impacting them. So today I have one segment at 2 o'clock. So the hours of 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock belong to all of you. I cannot tell you. Let me see. Michael is texting me. Oh, Michael said, let's go. So the shock for me on Friday were a couple of people. There was a 30-something-year-old by the name of Shanice. I asked her to set up an appointment to come in for me to talk to her live on the air, who, you know, she said when she walked into the supermarket, she said, everybody's going to wonder, what is this young person doing here? But she has been listening to my show now for months, and she brought me some yellow and purple roses to say thank you, and she just imparted some of the things that she had learned, and she made me cry. Then there was another 70-something-year-old listener who walked up and just started telling me how she wasn't living, that she was just I mean, you all just were woo. But honey, when George, Tyrone, Prince showed up, Malcolm showed up, I was like, Father God, and it was amazing. I had such a good time with all of you. But to see the regular callers, I just want to make sure that I'm doing this properly, to see the regular callers in person. Tyrone gave me a whole beautiful picture of him and his wife and his family. People gave me books. I got face cream, all sorts of things. I cannot thank you all enough. So if you want to call in to talk to me, please do. 215-634-8065. This Monday belongs to you. I see the crime is still rampant in the city of Philadelphia, but it's not just our city. It is all across the country. Atlanta, Houston, LA, just Chicago. It's been a weekend of just pure gun violence and shooting and killing, and it's just not been a good scenario. So tell me how your Monday is going, because mine is the Mondayest Monday ever. I'm still trying to find things that I was looking for in the middle of doing my research for the show today. There is something that I wanted to read to all of you, because we talk about this all the time, and I don't think we take it seriously enough. And I don't feel like I have enough light in here. Woo! Much better. I pulled up the definition, the dictionary definition of pride and ego. Definition of ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for really testing a sense of personal identity, self-esteem, self-importance, self-worth, self-respect, self-conceit, self-image, self-confidence. And then Michael is texting me again. Let me see who this is. Brother Joe. Brother Joe, how are you, sir? Let me talk to you before I go into this.
Thanks, Ray. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on, sir?
So thank you. I want to say hello to you and your wonderful producer, Brother Mike. I want to apologize today. I wasn't able to make it up to the Fresh Roasters this past Friday and meet you because I happen to have that family from my mom. You know, my mom, she's 89, and she knows she having a little health issues at this time. You know, but she's, it's coming. You know, but the little health thing. But I hope that Lord's willing, Sister Andrea, to meet you in the not too distant future. I talked to Brother Prince this morning. He told me he met you. He told me he met you Friday. That was an honor and stuff, man. You know, and Prince a good brother and stuff. And I told Prince, I hope I get a chance to see you myself at some point. You know.
You know what, Brother Joe? I think they all thought I was much shorter than I am. When I get on the air and I say I'm almost 6 feet tall, I'm almost 6 feet tall. You did mention you was tall. You did mention that time. You sure did. Yeah. Quite a few of the WURD listeners was like, "Woo, you're way taller than I thought you were." I said it all the time that I was almost 6 feet tall. The other person that I missed was Maurice, but I hear he was having some health challenges. So Maurice, I'm sorry for being mad at you, man. I didn't know you were having health challenges when I was fussing at you when you were on the phone. So call Marva, please. I apologize. All right. But Brother Joe, I had such a good time. The people were so nice, so kind.
Because I was able to listen. Like I wasn't able to get there physically, but I was able to listen to the radio, and I heard all the good conversations that y'all had. You, Solomon, Sister Tiffany Bacon with Sister Sarah Lomax. I mean, it was just a beautiful time I had for all. And I'm sure, Sister Andrea, when y'all had these forums in the future, these live broadcasts with the restrictions being lifted, I'm sure I get a chance to meet you. And I'm definitely looking forward to meeting you in the not too distant future. If I want to meet Brother Prince, I don't think I met Brother Prince ever. I may have, I can't even remember that. But I definitely want to meet Brother Maurice and George
listen,
Brother Joe. I disagree with George and Maurice on issues. I still like to meet them guys in person one day.
And that's what was so important to me, because Prince walked up and stood in front of me, never said his name. I looked at him and I said, "Prince!" He started to laugh. He just fit what I thought he would look like, right? And then Tyrone walked up, and I was literally, I spent so much time crying. I cried quite a bit on Friday.
Beautiful.
I did. One woman pulled me into the aisle where the wine was and just imparted some stuff into my soul, and I started to cry. And, I realized, I say this all the time, but I love you all. I love you all with every bit of everything that I have. And so it is in that vein that I put my pride and my ego aside to spend these days talking to all of you. Some days I'm tired, Brother Joe, and I'm like,
and Sister I couldn't have said it better. That's what it's all about. We can disagree on issues like that. We don't have to be disagreeable and stuff. We can still love. We love each other, love with each other with the WRD family. Because if you think about it, a lot of these white Democrats and white Republicans, they might have the differences, but at the same time, we notice how both from Congress, and a lot of times when it comes to white supremacy, they tend to band together. Look at Arundel and Bob Brady. Tom side with that racist FOP against black during the recent election. They sided with the guy who endorsed Donald Trump twice for president. So we got to be smart. We can't let our differences make us divided like that. Because at the end of the day, they're about white supremacy. We got to be about black love and black togetherness. But let me say this, Sister Andrea. See, once again, that's why I'm going to continue to push back. When I heard people say about the police, they do what they want to do when it comes to white folks. I don't know if you saw what happened over in Deptford, New Jersey last week with the pagan motorcycle gang member who was a criminal and a thug. Well, the police had cornered him because he had a sex. I think he had went to some person's house. I think it was a woman, and he assaulted her or threatened her with violence or whatever he did. He did some criminal act to her. Well, anyway, the police cornered him because they had got a whole bunch of cops cornered him in Deptford, New Jersey, and they told him to stand where he was and then drop his weapon or whatever. He went for his gun, Sister Andrea. Not only did they not shoot him, one cop ran and tackled him to make sure they didn't have to shoot. They tackled him and everything. So I'm saying to myself, why can't y'all do that with black people? And so you say you always want to shoot us, but when a white boy's going for his gun and you tackle him to the ground and make sure you don't have to shoot him, and they do. And it's been cases, Sister Andrea, where I've seen on YouTube a couple of cases in one case in Knoxville, Tennessee, where a white boy was shooting at the police in the parking lot, and they was telling him to drop his weapon, and he wouldn't drop it. So, and I'm saying to myself, Brian, y'all would have never gave a black man that kind of care. Y'all would have blew him away. Not only did they not shoot him, they shot him, but I'm saying they didn't shoot to kill him. The cop pulled his gun and calmly shot him right in the leg, and the white boy fell. He was about maybe 6, 7 feet from the white guy, shot him in his leg. The white boy dropped the weapon, fell to the ground. The cop came over and kicked the weapon away, and they grabbed him and put him in handcuffs, I guess, while they was calling the ambulance. So it just, my point is, Andrea, they show time and time again when they want to use less lethal means when it comes to their own brother and sister, and they do it. But when it comes to us, they always got to shoot with the center mass. They always say we trained to shoot center mass. You might be trained to do that, but why do y'all deviate when it comes to white people in most cases and stuff? And they do it, and not only in most cases, but they do it in many cases, Sister Andrea. Cases have shown around the country and other incidents, when it comes to white people, they use less lethal means. They only kill a Caucasian person when they have no other choice. You know what I'm saying? And that's real.
Let me ask you this, though. How much do you think this it truly impacts us? Because they keep telling us that we can't be emotional. We are too emotional about the things that are going on. But if every day we see these kinds of things happening to us, don't you think that the emotional toll? I mean...
Sure. And you know, your colleague at the station, Brother Shamari, he loves to use the term, we take L's all the time. And it's true, because it definitely is, you order something there. It definitely takes an emotional toll on you. If we only human beings, and we constantly see people being victims of injustice. You see black men, like you take a brother like Philando Castile, who was a licensed gun owner. He does, the cops come, I want to see your license or ID, whatever. Like that. He goes to pull out his wallet or whatever to show the cop, and he gets gunned down because the cop said he's going for a gun. Gun this man down in front of his wife and her child. You know what I'm saying? In Minnesota. I mean, you see, you don't think these things have an impact unless it's human beings. I mean, and you see this, and then when the cops do it, or they, in some cases, get fired. In some cases, don't even get fired, or if they get fired, like you see here in Philadelphia, they get their jobs back. I mean, like, for example, with this cops, with Brother Solomon helped get terminated. You got the white cop crying the blues now about how he was a victim of reverse racism. Never mind the fact, Sister Andrea, he on that plane through or stuff, calling black people all kinds of names, disparaging Muslims. But he said because he's a white man, he's a victim of reverse discrimination. I said, no, dude, you're not a victim of nothing. You're a victim of your own racism, man. You know what I mean? And you see this pushback with black people all the time. Whenever black people speak out, now they want to shut the critical race theory now, Sister Andrea. They want black people, white kids and black kids to be taught the truth. They want to say that Thomas Jefferson was a noble man. He was a founding father.
Listen, and passing laws to stop the critical race theory from being taught in schools. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They want to put these lies out there that Thomas Jefferson was a great man. He wasn't a rapist or a pedophile. They don't want to tell the truth about the history of this country and stuff. Never mind the fact that they can try to keep it away, but it don't change history. Like, Sister Andrea, if I came to your house yesterday and took a sledgehammer and bust your car windows out, I can get up in the radio and try to shut you up all I want and say, don't say it, you wrong. Well, what happened, happened. You know what I mean? If I bust your car windows up with a sledgehammer, well, it happened, Sister Andrea. No matter what kind of pushback or denial, it happened, and I should be accountable for it. Well, it's the same with white America. They can try to not teach it, but what happened in Tulsa happened. What happened with Thomas Jefferson's legacy, it happened. You can't change that because you don't want to. You're from this white, you want your children or black children or white children to know the truth about what happened. You got to talk about the good and bad of everything. So the fact that you want to keep it out, that shows their mentality and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they try to call and say it's hateful, that black people being hateful because they want to just teach the truth about America's rotten history and in a lot of cases, especially towards our people. I mean, these things got to be taught and stuff, and they got to be said. So all that in closing, Sister Andrea, you're right. It's the psychological toll. It does take a damage on our people. You constantly see these injustices. The last point, Sister Andrea, I want to monopolize your call, but the black farmers, like Solomon was talking about it this morning, I think, in Brother Charles. Here you got black farmers that was promised $4 billion forgiveness and stuff because of past white systematic racism, and here you got white farmers complaining about they being victims of reverse racism. So now you got a white federal judge that was appointed by George Bush hold up their money, hold up the forgiveness for them. You know what I mean? It's one thing after another. So whenever black people try to move a step forward, white racism try to push them backwards and stuff. So definitely stuff like that takes an emotional toll. We don't even want to even try to right the past wrongs that have been done to black people. When you want to fight the wrongs, they come back with you discriminating against them. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Who are you talking? And they benefited. It's making it so bad, Andrea. The white farmers benefited from all that systematic racism that was done against black farmers. They benefited from it financially, but they don't want black men farmers get any. This
It all comes down. It all comes down to power and ego, and the way it juxtaposes itself into modern day for us is we're not allowed to be human. We can't make mistakes.
Exactly.
We can't be caught doing anything that the average person would get away with. It was just.
That's true.
And so all of that takes a toll on our psyche, you know?
Oh,
and
sure.
we have to constantly remind ourselves we can't do this, can't do what everybody else does. And I don't know. I just feel like we cannot continue like this forever.
No, we can't.
Right?
Let me say this in closing. Like the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said on the speech I had, he said, we can't keep kicking this thing down the road. He said, we can't keep putting out future generations of children through this over and over again. This stuff has got to come to an end at some point. I mean, there's something, it all got to come to a head. Because sometimes you're a parent, and I'm sure you don't want your sons, and then your sons have children, and you become a grandmother. You don't want your grandchildren have to keep going through this stuff over and over and over again, where they're getting gunned down by the police and nothing happens, where they've been discriminated against. Where say, for example, your son has children, your grandson, your grandson or granddaughter sitting in the college dorm, like this black girl was at Harvard or Yale. They mind their own bed and sleeping like college students do. I've been to college campuses all over the country, and you see kids and they're sleeping in the hallway, because that's what they do. And yet a white student, a bigot, calls the police and says she don't belong here, even though she's a student that's living on campus. You see what I'm saying, Sister Andrea?
I do.
This is the kind of stuff that we get tired of having to go through and stuff, man. I mean, you can't sleep in the dorm with you being accused of being a criminal. And this girl going into this school on a scholarship, and she get the police call to her to some old bigoted white student saying, well, she don't belong here because she's black. I mean, come on, man. This stuff got to stop.
Brother Joe, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, my brother. Because this is how hypertension and diabetes and all the things that happen to us show up, right? It manifests through our frustrations and our traumas. And so I want you to take a deep breath and remember to take some time. You know, don't always stay immersed in this all the time. Take some time for loving the people around you. Take some time to even take a day, go take a drive, jump on a boat, whatever you want to do to just get away. Go to the bathroom, anything.
I do.
You know,
that's why
because this is all consuming, sir, and I don't want it to harm you.
And I appreciate this, Sister Andrea, but I do take your advice already. That's why I went to Jamaica twice.
Come on now, you better go on and go hang out with my people.
Right, exactly. I had a good time over there twice. Over there in Ocean Ridge and Montego Bay a couple of years right before the pandemic. The year before the pandemic, I went down to Ocean City, Maryland, spent the whole weekend down there.
Good.
So I know how to.
Self-care is important. Yes.
I look out for my health, Sister Andrea, because to be here to see how people prevail. So I don't let it, consume me to the point where it starts affecting my health, because I know when to back off, and I know when to, back. Because you're right, you have to know when to back off and get that rest or get that vacation, because you have to. In other words, recharge the battery, just like you did a few weeks ago when you spend time with your husband, your family. And you're right. That's the best advice no more. And I take it with the sincerity it was given, Sister Andrea, and I'm gonna continue to do so. They say disengage when I have to. No question. Thank you so much for that advice.
You're
Sister.
welcome,
I love you,
my brother.
Sister.
You take it easy, okay? And thank you so much for being willing to call.
And I'll listen to the rest of the show.
Yes, sir. All right, bye-bye. I know I have another caller on, but I need to take a break now. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Join WURD Radio, Saturday, June 19th from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. as we celebrate Juneteenth, Freedom Day, live at 52nd and Haverford in front of Spectrum Health. WURD Radio will kick off the 2021 Juneteenth celebration, hosting the live broadcast and the launch of the official Juneteenth March to Malcolm X Park. 2021 has shined with the reemergence of community support and public observance that helped this landmark event's legacy grow brighter than ever. As we pay tribute to Black Lives lives lost, and honor Black voices being heard, we invite you to join WURD Radio host Michael Cord on Saturday, June 19th from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. at 5200 Haverford Avenue. And if you haven't started or renewed your WURD membership, you can sign up on site for the discounted early bird rate of just $75. This broadcast is being brought to you by AARP, Comcast, Keystone First, Pico, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Spectrum Health, Ready Set Philly, Brown's Family ShopRite, and Bank of America.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Prince, what's up, my brother?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. I was so happy to see y'all. I came right home and said to my husband, look, that's Prince, that's George, that's that's Tyrone. He said, you look so happy. I was so happy to see you guys.
Yeah, we had a great time out there. Thank you guys for coming out. And we're still waiting for you to put the round table together with the callers.
I'm waiting for you all to tell me.
Yeah.
So how about this? I'm going to send you Brianna's email address, pull them all together, because I really want to talk to all of you. I've been trying to do this for almost a year. It'll be interesting to have the conversation. Can we do it on Zoom?
No.
No.
The city open now. We don't.
Huh?
They've been getting away. They've been managing us on Zoom. They've been mismanaging us on Zoom.
So what do you mean?
So, Sarah, and like we met at Fresh Grocer, we need to have a place where folks can come out and see why folks offer their opinion that they offer. You know, folks have been hiding behind Zoom under the current situation. So now, you know how many people got a chance? You know, I said at a meeting, I seen Gary, I seen the other guy from Southwest who do the skating, and George, and they got to hear a different view, a different point of view from that person and see that person. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to do a Zoom call. But
okay.
I got two things for you. Are you ready?
Wait, no, not yet. Hold on, because I know I'm going to have to pull out my pen and paper. But I was talking about doing a Zoom interview with all of you.
No, we could get a place. We got resources. We can rent a place and stuff like that. Do you know all the people almost pretty much came and shake their hand before they went to shake everybody else's hand? So, no, we don't. We accept you. We feel you. We are deliberately understanding your message and your purpose, without any hidden agenda. So, no, it's best because you already built capacity. I've seen that out there. Folks wanted to know who you were, and when they found out, they hovered over there for a minute. So,
I was crying. I felt so bad. I was crying. All right, let me get pen and paper up. What's up?
Okay, so I'm going to give you. Okay, so one city council people. We're going down city council people, right? Mm-hmm. One Hispanic, Maria, right? Mm-hmm. 2 Asian, Ellen Gim and David O. Mm-hmm. And 2 Caucasian, Alan Dodd and Mark Skrilla. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. There's 17 council people. I gave you 5, correct? Mm-hmm. The other 12 look like you. Mm-hmm. To some extent. Gender, non-gender, but they're African American, right? Mm-hmm. And all of them in concert supported Alan Dodd with this bill, which makes him the tough on law or the law-abiding, the Donald Trump of city council, with this bill that we will have a traffic violation and make all of those off-road four-wheelers and dirt bikes illegal, correct?
Mm-hmm. I heard that on the news this morning, yep.
Right. So let me pose a solution, because he's running for mayor or anticipating on running for mayor, and he's an at-large council person because it's Mark Skrilla's district. Mm-hmm. So Mark had to support him on this because Alan Dodd can't put a resolution in because he doesn't have a district, okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if and because he got the condos in Center City, and because they're complaining on South Street, is the only reason why we even have a bill to this extent. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping Mayor Kenney doesn't sign this bill and make them redo it. Because you want me to tell you how the bill should be done? if they offered my opinion. That's my opinion. You should charge all of the gas stations the first fine for letting an illegal vehicle gas up at the station should be $300. The second fine should be $1,000. The third fine should be 6 months of closure. Now, if you have no gas, you cannot drive. The kid who got shot in the head the other day, they all gathered at 2nd and American Street, which was a gas station, hundreds of them.
Wow.
And so if you got these solutions here, it prevents you from having chaos. Because it's
Or I was hoping they would have a space where they could go and freely ride their stuff. Like they're empty lots. There's no space big enough in Philadelphia for them to do that?
I sent a proposal to Councilman Jones 4 years ago in reference to getting Red Bull, Yamaha, Harley Davidson, and the rest of those folks in conjunction with the motorcycle clubs here to take the swampland down there in southwest Philadelphia near the airport, get FedEx or UPS to commit a certain parcel of land and reconfigure it. And so to the behest, well, they ignored it. They did what they did. So what I'm saying is that when the hosts want to tell us or ask us what are we doing, and when the hosts want to say it's a shame and you want to spout out all these numbers on how things are not good in Philadelphia, if you have the 12 people who's supposed to have our best interest voting against our best interest, then you have a group of council people who supports the status quo. And if they support the status quo agenda, and that's somebody else's agenda, then stop asking us, what is it we're going to do? Well, you know clearly they're doing whatever they want to do because they got the 12 people who look like us in the bag. In the bag. And that's devastating, but people don't realize that, you know, at some point in time, you at least, and so, Andrea, just to be clear, a while ago I sent you a letter, and in that letter, I sent you the letter towards the city council, and that letter had a bunch of preachers on there that I told you was going to ask for some money, and I told you that they were going to ask for the money to try to say that they are helping Philadelphia out. So the one pastor who goes to the one church who preaches to his congregation, how is he the voice for any other people in the city? He's not, right? Because he doesn't speak for me because I don't go to this church. Doesn't speak for other people. So why would you give 10 pastors or 30 pastors $100 million if they don't speak for the voice of the people in the city of Philadelphia? You have no sound reason. Economically, it doesn't make any sense, you know. And so stop. You're asking taxpayers to just give a blind check. And he's talking about, well, we'll make sure that the agencies who are already doing the job get the money. Well, none of them agencies came on there and said that they were void of any money.
Right.
Why do you need to be the fiduciary of taxpayer dollars to agencies?
And what about the people that are out here really in the grassroots movement helping the city more than any agency could but can't get any kind of fiduciary help? What about those people?
You should identify those people, and then you should take the money from the people, the political people, the political friends and pundits that you're giving money to that's not showing. People are retired off of grants that they've been getting for the last 20 years and hadn't done the work.
So, you know, I can attest to that. I spoke to someone so I have friends in the foundation space, Kellogg Foundation all the way down, right? And one of them years ago said to me, these folks are out here talking about they're trying to stop this and stop that, and they're making money, can't even write a sound proposal, right?
They hire
it's just because
they get enough money to hire people, and then if you get big enough,
they're just living off
you
of
hire
it.
staff. You know, you hire grant writers, what they call, and you get out and do some campaign, some political work for the politician at hand, and then you're awarded a grant. You know, it is devastating that you keep trying to tell us that we should do something different when the only person who is suffering through the same injustice or the same situation 20 years later are the ones that look like us. We had this conversation about a training program, a GED program. Yeah, all this conversation
when Mrs. Blackwell was in office 20 years ago, or just recently, but 20 years ago when they was in office, when Lou was in office. It's like the same pundits are preaching the same song, and yet now it's like the chicken's coming home to roost because you can't fix the problem that is this bad.
Right.
You can't buy your way out.
It's getting worse.
And the
a 15 or a 16-year-old girl was shot at 66 and Broad yesterday. It just continues to happen. There just seems to be no discernible, and it's sad because when I ask the leaders that I know, that I consider leaders, they say these folks just don't care. Hard to say it, but they just don't care. So when you're between that kind of a rock and a hard place, what happens to the people that live here in this community? How do we not expect there to be some kind of repercussions for not doing what you're supposed to be doing? That's
a good question. I mean, you are asking the right question. The thing about it is that you're 5 deaths away from 250 deaths, and you're not even in July yet.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're paying a commissioner, regardless of what their color is, regardless of what their background is and race is, you paying somebody more than $250,000, $300,000 a year for what? For her to get on every news channel, except for the black one, and say, I'm going to need y'all help. Y'all have to help me. No, she wasn't qualified. That person wasn't qualified enough, and that's why you don't have a sound plan. And so the counts will continue to increase. And I guess, like, it affected Alan Dobbs, those motorcycles riding down South Street in Mark Twiller. I guess what you're saying to us is it got to affect some other white person in some other major way for you to stop this stuff that's happening in our city. And so you ignore me, you ignore you ignore taxpayers who look like us if you keep waiting for something to happen to them in order to fix this problem. And that's where I am so upset about, because the 12 council people obviously has put our initiatives or our safety on the back burner because nothing has happened to them.
Can you imagine being the mayor of a town and working with mediocrity all day, every day? Because you're working with people's egos and pride, and I got this position and that position, and nothing is changing. Can you imagine?
That's the whole thing about being in that position. Because Ed Rendell was in that position. A few folks was in that position. Bob Brady was in that position. Let me name some African American folks too. So Cecil B. Moore was in that position. Georgie Woods was in that position. So it's not the position itself; it's the inability to know the end game, and that's the problem you have with the young Isaiahs and all these new council people. The inability to know the end game. They do not know, and so they're coached by people. So in the Bible would say, told the young prophet not to listen to the old prophet because the old prophet wasn't listening to God anymore, right? And you still got the Anthony Williams and the Dwight Evans and the Vincent Hughes. Amongst all three of them is 60 years of politics in them. And so nothing's gotten better.
So you know what? Well, hold on, Prince, because there's a brother on here on Facebook who is saying that you're all mouth and you need a hobby. It's not the commissioner's fault. And what are you doing for the community? Absolutely nothing. How is it that people don't know what you do for the community, Prince?
Because the people in the community know what's being done in the community. And then so the internet gives you Facebook gangsters and people who type all day who got the time to do that. But if they had shown Friday, there was more people who probably knew who I was or knew me from what I had done in the community.
I got to tell you, there were folks who said, I quote, and I'm quoting this, and a ton of them that said this: I came to see you because I know if you came, Prince, Michael, George, all of them was coming. They were right. And they kept checking with me. Did they show up yet? Did they show up yet? I was cracking up when you all showed up. And I said, they're right over there in the corner. And they started coming. It's true. It is absolutely true. It happened. Man. I watched it happen. They said, we came because you said you were coming. We knew if you were coming, they were going to show up. And I was like, maybe they're not going to come because it's after 12. When y'all came, they were like, this one lady was like, that's got to be Prince. Who's that? I said, that's Tyrone. She said, well, who's that? I said, that one over there is George. Notice all I said to George was ninja. All I looked at George and was like, Ninja. The amount of heartburn that George has given me in this year and a half is hilarious. But it was so good. I appreciate the fact that you all took the time to come. But I got to tell you this, Prince, I am just as, there are days when I get up and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Because I feel like all I'm doing is talking and I'm not able to help you all in the way that we should be able to help. You understand what I'm saying, Prince? It just feels like
see, when you get
the definition of insanity over here.
Man, so I didn't greet Solomon because it's part of my immaturity. Because when I'm in the room and he's in the room, there's more people who know me than know him. And I think he's getting false credit because of what he does. But then that's him. You know what I mean? And so if I don't deal with a man, I don't deal with a man. I don't see no need to be gracious to someone I don't deal with, period. I don't have anything against him. I don't really know him. His politics not my politics, so I had no reason. I came to see Andrea. I knew Nick from years ago, you know what I mean? Met Tiffany, you know. But if I ain't vibing with you out here in the community, I ain't vibing with you in those secret places that a bunch of people can't come to. So we should be able to agree and disagree and love on who we want to love on and be cordial to those in the midst of us. So
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because you know, there's things that I know that a lot of people don't know, and I don't talk about your stuff because it's for you to talk about. But are people aware about the NAACP thing that you're a part of? You're going to join their board? Have you made that public yet?
Actually, sponsored up to 10 people. Once they gave me a call, we communicated because the bigger picture is more in my focus than the little picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get the bigger picture in play, then you're not going to have a bunch of pastors asking for $100 million. You'll ask for a sound coalition like the NAACP to be the fiduciary for pastors or for any other group to assist Philadelphia and the United States. So, yeah, I mean, I don't need to be running anything in order to be a part of something successful. You know, so I sponsored 10 people. So that was $30 a person. I sponsored that. So the person text them back and say, well, he just gave up $300 to sponsor 10 people with NAACP. How many you going to sponsor?
And Eric Marsh asks this, but at what point do you mend fences and build bridges? But don't answer that, Prince. Let me answer this for you, Eric. You can't mend fences and build bridges with just anybody.
Yeah, you don't.
Because not everybody is willing to, the bridge that you're building with them, they will use it to trample you with or smack you over the head with. You've got to be able to read people and know exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah,
and so you're right, Eric. We need to mend fences and build bridges, but we can't be with just anybody. And that's been our issue.
He got 12 city council people who are African American who voted on a bill that will do more harm. The reason why we stopped cops from chasing people on those bikes is because if you keep saying that they're bad cops and we hadn't weeded all of them out, well, they were killing kids. They were running them down with cars. That's
all right, so Prince, I want you to hold on, because there are folks here saying that you shouldn't dim other people's light to make yours shine brighter. Not sure what that means. And Harold says Solomon is a radio host, author, and columnist. Prince is high if he think he can match up to. Why does this have to be a match or a contest? I'm saying the same thing, Mike. That's the same thing I'm saying. Why does it have to be a contest? It's not a contest, and it's okay. Listen, there are folks who can't stand the ground that I walk on. I don't take it personally. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody is going to like you. And the same way that I allow, you know, people would love it if I would censor some of you all that called in here. I'm not doing it. I am not. I had a woman walk up to me on Friday and said, one of the things I love the most about you is that you give everybody the dignity they deserve. We cannot talk about healing and mending fences and building bridges if we're tearing people up when they call to talk to us. That doesn't work. If we truly want to heal, then we have to come from a healing space. And that is what is important. Hold on. I need to take a break. See, now y'all got me. Don't listen now. See, Prince, you done started some foolishness over here. Oh, my God, I can't take it. Hold on. You know, I just think there's some personality issues going on here. But hold on one second. Are you looking for a job? WURD has got you covered. We just launched a brand new job portal featuring jobs from some of Philadelphia's leading companies and arts organizations. If you go to the portal right now, you will see jobs from WURD Radio, the Kimmel Center, Her Foods, Always Best Care, and more. Apply for a job today. Go to our livelihood website at wordworks.com. That's WURD.WORKS.com and click jobs. Welcome back. It is time to reawaken, reopen, and renew. WURD Radio is kicking off our annual Early Bird Special. We have stood together every step of the way during the pandemic. Here at WURD, our hosts and producers, our elders, parents, children, teachers, doctors, and community leaders stood up, shared resources, and supported each other through the airwaves, virtual events, and of course the phone lines. We stayed connected by every means necessary. Let's welcome the new season, the reopening of the city, and our new normal together. Stand with us. Join or renew your sustaining forward membership for the special price of $75. Or if you just want to support the work we are doing, there is now an option to become a digital forward member for as little as $5 per month. Visit wordradio.com/earlybird. The Welcome Back Early special runs now through June 19th. You are listening to The Source. 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Get in and get seen at the Einstein Orthopedics Fracture Care Clinic. If you think you've broken a bone or have been told by your doctor that you have a fracture, the Einstein Fracture Care Clinic offers same-day, in-person, or telehealth appointments. We don't just give you peace of mind. Einstein Orthopedics provides answers when you need them. Visit einstein.edu/fracturecare to learn more.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Yo, listen. So on Friday when I was at the Fresh Grocer, I heard somebody say something that was not cool. And I turned and I looked at them and I said, these people that are standing in here, that show up every single time, whether we're on the air, off the air, in the community, we are to give them the love and the respect that they deserve. Even if you think what you're thinking, you should never let it come out of your mouth. We spend way too much time ripping into each other. You hear what I'm saying to you? We've got to be better. We've got to be better. We let our ego, we power trip, and we forget why we're here. If we're not here for the people of this city, if we're just here to make money, if we're just here to build our coffers and to get rich and not really concerned about ourselves, about the people of the city, then why the hell are we doing this? Why the hell do we open up the microphones and get on here every day? Why do we talk to the people? Are we just here to use them to buy something that we want them to buy from us? Are we just talking because it makes us look good and big and bad on radio? We've got to be better. We've got to be better. And I'm going to keep saying it until we get better. Otherwise, y'all won't see me, because I cannot be a part of something where we don't treat each other well. It just doesn't work. So I'm not going to be party to the ripping folks apart to get a point across. It is about what are we doing to lift and elevate. And that's why we continue to have mediocrity all around this city, because we continue to infight with one another and we can't get anything done, and they're looking at us and smiling and going, this is crazy. We don't have to pay attention to them. They're too busy ripping each other apart. We got to stop it. Brothers, we've got to be better. Prince, let me give you 2 more seconds and then I got to take these other calls. But thank you for being patient, my brother.
And thank you for this time. I appreciate it. But when you read my book, right? and so I think I may have sent you the trailer that's coming soon for the YouTube channel.
Yes.
You know, more folks to get to understand and see what I'm about when they visit the YouTube channel. And if you were if that whoever texts you, I'll get them a free copy of my book, and then compare my book against the host and the journalist and that other person's book, you know. And then I'm not saying anything against them. Everybody should be progressive. I'm just saying, if your purpose ain't to make sure that the masses who look like us get out of the situation we're in, then your progress is not our progress, because everybody ain't got a council person that live that close to them where they can make sure that the grass is cut and stuff like that. And that's my soapbox. I'm going to get off and let other people get on. And thank you for this time, and good seeing you.
Oh, all right. Bye. And the Prince always come on here and get the people all riled up. You know what, Lusan, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him if Solomon's who's talking, because I tell them don't mention names, so they don't mention names. So I don't, I think he did talk. I think he did mention his name at one point. I can't keep up anymore. Malcolm, how you doing, brother?
Hey, mother.
Ah, sir, what's going on?
Hey, was glad I was
over there too. Yeah, that person is on at 2 o'clock. But it was so good seeing you, Malcolm. So good seeing you.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, I was listening to Prince the whole time. I didn't get a chance to meet Maurice and Tyrone. You know, some of the other callers. I think I got there too late. It was probably well after 1 o'clock when I got there. You know, so plus it was raining and drizzling out there that day. You know, but I think most people had left by the time I got there. But I was glad to stop through. I had to stop through.
Yes, I was
you know,
so happy
to see
to see you.
Between you and Sarita, I didn't get the chance to see Sarita, but I met
She was
Miles.
there. She came in a little bit later. She was near me over there by the hot food. She was there.
Oh, boy, that figures. I know she like to eat. You know, but I was glad to see you, Solomon, Kawesa, you, Solomon, Kawesa, of course, Nick, a few of the callers I ran into. You know, but so it was good to stop through, renew my membership, and see a few people, even if it was for a short time. And I'm hoping I'm hoping I get back on Facebook soon. I don't know. They got my account locked, so I don't know what's going on.
They'll bring you back soon, Malcolm. Don't give them no credence. They'll bring you back soon. You'll be all right. I'm going over to YouTube though, so that I can.
Check me out on YouTube, but that's where I am for right now.
Okay.
Until they hook my account back up.
All right.
I just wanted to, I'm just checking in, letting you know I'm listening. That's all.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, okay?
All right.
All right. Bye-bye. Vanessa, as I open up my fourth screen over here. Lord have mercy. Vanessa, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mother.
What's going on, darling?
Hey, listen, I want to say thank you for representing for all of the mothers. Especially, you stand up and make us look so strong. And I'm calling you as a mother today about the dirt bike issue.
Yes, ma'am.
In my district, there was a young man, they called him Dirt Bike Rail. And he was a phenomenal athlete on those bicycles. And I remember as a little girl, we would wait late at night to watch Evel Knievel do the most challenging of stunts. And he would do them on a dirt bike and a motorcycle. And he made millions of dollars. And the thing that saddens my heart is that we don't see the talent of these young African-American men and see them with the potential of an Evel Knievel, where we would put a venue together. And I understand that down by the 63rd and Cows Creek Boulevard, that there is a stadium down there. And that would be a wonderful place to see these children exhibit their talent.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about, Miss Vanessa, because I think the amount of money these kids, they're super talented. What I'm concerned about is somebody else is going to come along and say, we're opening up this part, and they're going to lock out the young people who actually showcase their skills. They're doing it on the streets of Philadelphia because there's really no other place for them to be. Put a place together for them, and they'll be out there doing it, and they can make money doing it.
And maybe
why is it so hard?
Other talents had we not closed down the rec centers. Maybe they would be fingers instead of dirt bike kids. And these children get no funding, so they're selling drugs on the corner, not because they just want to be a drug dealer, but because they want to increase their craft. And the equipment is expensive. Those bikes cost a fortune. The cameras that they use. If anybody ever went to YouTube and watched what these children do, it is amazing. And that dirt bike rail, he died. And I went to his funeral. And when I was at his funeral, there were hundreds of young boys there, hundreds of them, called the Bike Boys. And I was able to talk at that funeral because he traveled all over with this. You know, and I'm just, it breaks my heart to see us want to criminalize and penalize our children for being just what they are, children. And when you don't have direction for them, then yes, they get out of hand. But that's because we haven't set the boundaries for them. We haven't set the safe environment and the safe places for them to exhibit and to grow. So that is our fault when they act out.
Yep. I
wish that all the members of city council felt like you, felt like Prince, felt like me, that this is something that we should be developing and not punishing and not trying to suppress. And I'm sorry, I don't normally call in, but I sat at that funeral of that young man. I held his mother's hand. And I know that we had made an ordinance to stop police from chasing children on those bikes because the children were getting hurt and the police were running into other innocent pedestrians and vehicles on the street, chasing after because they wanted to catch one of these children and confiscate their bikes. And then when I was a legislator, I rode up and down the turnpike, Andrea, mother. I was.
Wait. This is Vanessa Laurie. Wait, is this Vanessa Laurie Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you better come on. Listen, see, this is what I'm loving. You didn't even put your ego in the middle of it. You just said, this is Vanessa.
I am just Vanessa. I'm a mom. That's what I ran on. I was a mother. I wanted to bring mother's love to West Philadelphia. I bring a mother's love wherever I am. I love the platform that you have built about being a mother. Yes, I think it just touches my heart every time I hear you when you say mother. And when I hear the men, because the men want a mother so bad, and when they call in and they call you that, it just makes me feel so good that you've created a safe environment for the men that call you, because other callers, other shows hang up on them. And you don't have to agree, but you have to allow everyone to have a space. And thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
I just want to tell you that when I rode up that turnpike every day, I would look into the side because I had somebody who would drive me. So I got to look out off the turnpike in neighborhoods that never would accept us or look like us. And there were tons of people on dirt bikes. The whole family, the children, they were having cookouts. And they were doing all of their activity on those dirt bikes and the stunts and having a good time. And then I would drive back to Philadelphia and say, why can't our children have
those same
pleasure?
Thing. Right.
And then we would make laws about ATV. We made laws. This is not just about having fun. There's like the laws that we did in Philadelphia. Well, up in the state of Harrisburg, we made laws to allow them to do more.
Yes, because they have so much space. They give them the space, and I see those dirt bikes up there all the time. So we know that it's a pastime that the young people love. We're in a city. Find a piece of land. Find a piece of land by the airport, by the refinery that you shut down, something, y'all, and open up the space for these young people to do what they need to do. Instead of penalizing them and being punitive with them, find space for them. This is our battle cry every day.
That's right. I rode by the plateau on a weekend, and they had the dirt bikes up there, and they were up on the plateau, and they were spinning around and doing all these tricks. I love watching them. I'm telling you, if they open it up, I will be one of the first people to buy a season ticket. And they were up there doing these amazing stunts. They sent so many police up there to stop them. Even the captain was out there. And then they had those big yellow arm barriers, those metal barricades that come down, and they closed down the park and shut them all out. So then they forced them out to the street. So
So they were up in the park and they forced them out into the street. So exactly where do you want our children to go? We're talking about violence and keep giving them something to do. What do you want from our children? Really? What do you want from them?
And they're our children. Those are my children. They're your children. They're our children. And the children that are dying in the street, the 14-year-old boy who got shot at the Federal Donut, eating a donut.
God.
Listen, why are we not down in City Hall, surrounding City Hall, and saying to everybody who works in it and makes these decisions, you don't work here anymore. As long as another child dies in the streets of Philadelphia, you can't come. There should be so many people around City Hall locked arm to arm to shut City Hall down until they find something, get some kind of solution for why 14, 16-year-old children are dying or getting shot every day in the city of Philadelphia. Everybody should have had enough of it.
Agreed. Thank you so much,
you got
my sister.
I know you have.
I know.
And I won't let this be my last because all the men dominate your show.
Yes, they do.
I'm going to start calling in. And I want to say that Prince, people want to know what he does. Listen, this weekend I had a fundraiser for the National Association of Black Veterans. He showed up and gave a sizable donation.
Yep.
So sometimes you don't have to see what people do.
Yep.
They do.
And the people that are actually doing the work are the ones that are doing it quietly. I happen to know the amount of money that he gives out all the time quietly. He just doesn't come on the air and talk about it. And he will not defend himself and talk about it, which I find to be really interesting. Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you for calling. Love you too. All right. Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM. Michael, I know I ran long. Hold on. 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. I just pulled up my live stream on YouTube. I am about to go over there and talk to the people. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and on Zoom. This is going to be interesting. 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
First Person Arts and EMOC Philly presents stories of celebration and family ties in Letter to My Father, Letter to My Son, Evolution. Thursday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Streaming online. Visit firstpersonarts.org for free registration and more information.
Lifting every voice
till earth and heaven ring.
This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Tell me how you pronounce your name. Naja?
Naja.
Naja. All right. Well, let me just introduce you nicely, and then we'll go into this great conversation. Naja serves as the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging's president and CEO, succeeding Holly Lang in April of 2020, or assumed the role during an unprecedented time in PCA's history as services had to quickly adapt during the COVID-19 pandemic. Under his direction, services are continuing to meet the ever-evolving needs of the Philadelphia's older adults during this time. This includes delivering more than 2 million meals to older Philadelphians through the home-delivered and community-based meal programs in the years since the initial shutdown. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Welcome to The Source.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure. So listen. I see those Philadelphia Corporation for Aging trucks all the time. I'm getting old. I only look cute. I'm getting there. And I often wondered, what were you doing with the trucks? If you're just serving meals, are you making sure that there's a health and wellness portion to it? Are you finding housing for them? Describe to people an overall view of the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging.
Sure. I'll give a little bit of a framework for who we are and what we do. The foundation for what we do really started with the Older Americans Act of 1965, which created the shell or the framework for federal, state, and local offices to meet the needs of the growing older adult population, ages 60 and over, and to make sure that we're doing our part to allow them to live independently in their homes and community as long as possible. PCA, as we call ourselves, Philadelphia Corporation for Aging, we were created almost 50 years ago with the reauthorization of that Older Americans Act, which designated area agencies on aging offices across the country as those local supports to meet the needs of older adults in their local communities. We are, in Pennsylvania at PCA, one of 52 area agencies on aging in the state of Pennsylvania, and there's more than 600 across the country. I will say that Pennsylvania remains unique, though. We're in a very, very fortunate situation because we do have our lottery that supports older adults in the community. And in addition to the supports that we provide, and I'll go over a few of those, the lottery supports transportation services through the shared ride program, print and property tax rebates for older adults, and then also prescription coverage through the PACE program. And we like to generally look at ourselves as the front door to services and supports to older adults. Even if it's services that we're not going to provide directly through our offices, we want to connect people to the right support that'll meet their needs. We generally, since inception, we've grown to more than 30 programs that support people in the community annually, and we usually serve about 140,000 consumers across all of our programs.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
It is.
Okay, so you've been there since April of 2020. What did you find? What have you done since you got? Because I mean, you got there right smack in the middle of the country. It just hit me. Ooh.
Yes, the timing was.
Ouch.
The timing was good. The timing was good. You know, obviously we were at a place where we were just starting to see, buildings start to shift and navigate things in the pandemic. We, basically tightened up our office around mid to end of March, and then I was fortunately promoted at the beginning of April. So there's definitely been a lot of transition since I came aboard, but we're doing our part. You want to make sure we have everybody understand we're a resource here available to them, pandemic or not. We're here to support people in the community.
So I'm 60 years old. I'm 62 years old. I'm not 62. I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. I'm 62 years old. I am retired. I realize that my Social Security check is not giving me anything near where I would need to live and survive and thrive. What would I need to do to reach the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging to get some services, and what can you supply for me given what I just told to you?
Absolutely. First thing is, we always say call our helpline. Our helpline number 215-765-9040. I'll say again, 215-765-9040. We are there to answer any and all questions related to older adults age 60 and over. We generally follow 3 different paths when it comes to supporting older adults in the community. First, that's doing our part to ensure people can remain connected to the community. That's things like the senior centers, which there's 28 in the city of Philadelphia that we support. Health and wellness programs, volunteer opportunities, senior employment, as you mentioned, transportation through the shared ride program, et cetera, a number of programs like that, just to make sure we're doing our part to make sure people can stay connected to the community. The middle path is doing our part to make sure that we are ensuring people can live in their homes and communities safely as possible, as long as possible. And that's where our care managers will go into the homes, typically complete a very comprehensive assessment to link them to supports and services that will meet their individual need. Things like home care, home delivered meals. You talked about seeing our trucks on the road, adult day services, medical equipment and supplies, home modifications for individuals that need some repairs done in their home, like some bathroom remodeling, things like that.
Does this cost them anything?
So what we do is, once we come out to do that comprehensive assessment, in most instances in the city of Philadelphia, the folks that we serve, we are providing supports based on their need. And it is the lottery that primarily supports most of the consumers that we serve. For some of the programs, there is a cost sharing component. We take into account what supports do they have already in place. We do look at other pieces as we're completing our comprehensive assessment, but a majority of the people that we serve are covered by the Pennsylvania Lottery. It's typically the target consumers that we serve are those individuals that have the greatest needs and fewest resources.
Wow. Do you think more people can take advantage of this program? Because, I mean, I'm just texting my husband. I was like, listen, we're getting there.
Hey, well, you got me. Hey, you can call me anytime. We're here to support you.
We are getting there. So someone just texted me. She said, Philadelphia County, not Bucks, Delaware. So the PCA is for Philadelphia County only?
Yes, PCA is for Philadelphia County only. However, there are AAAs that cover every single county, all 67 counties in the state, and there's more than 600 across the nation. So you can reach your local area agency on aging no matter where you're at in the country. And if you're out of state, we're happy to even put you in the direction of your local AAA that could support your needs.
Oh, got it. So let's say I am, because I want the average person to really take advantage of this service because it's out here. What kind of meals do you serve, and who provides your meals?
We do do a quick shout out to several of our caterers. One of them, of course, is Betty the caterer. We do have a meal distribution center that the meals are delivered to. Our staff work hard every day to get the meals packaged. And as you see those trucks on the road, get those meals out to individuals into their homes. For individuals that are not able to get to the senior centers, that's where you see those trucks making those deliveries. Since the pandemic, we've delivered over 1.9 million meals of just home delivered alone. And for the folks that can get to the senior centers, that's where our senior center partners really lend a hand with doing their part to tackle food insecurity as well. There's been over 600,000 meals that have been delivered by senior centers. And that's where people typically go to the senior centers to participate in all kinds of programs at the center and then receive a healthy, nutritious lunch as well. Since the pandemic has things tightened up a bit over the last year, they transitioned their meals to grab and go so people could still get there and grab their meal, take it home, and then participate in virtual programming when they get back to the house.
So do they also show up at the senior center, not just to mingle with other folks, because I've seen this happen. I've actually volunteered at senior centers just to kind of hang out with them and play games with them.
Yes.
Do they also show up to stay cool? Or do you provide
absolutely.
air conditioning for, okay.
Absolutely, yes. Senior centers are an excellent location for cooling centers. When we start hitting those heat emergencies throughout the city, senior centers are an excellent option for folks to make sure that they go for a cool location when those summer months get a little warm. Yeah.
Do you accept volunteers?
We absolutely do. We have several volunteer programs. One called the Senior Companion Program. So we're always looking for volunteers to support us and those that have needs in the community. And if not us, then there's other programs that we connect people to as well. So we're always looking for people who want to lend a hand and make sure that they're supporting their community, whether it's an older adult volunteer or others as well.
So I'm actually thinking about young teenagers, 18, 19, who are looking to have volunteer service hours but really want to work with seniors. I've seen it happen in other communities. And then I'm thinking about people like myself who love young people. I grew up, the elderly. I grew up in Jamaica. I like two groups, the babies and the seniors.
Right.
That other group in the middle.
See, I knew we were good friends. I knew that because it's me too.
That other group in the middle, I'm like, Lord, you get past 18, I'm like, all right, I'll see you when you're 65, because I just cannot. So do they call that hotline to volunteer, or is there a number, another specific way that they can call in to volunteer?
They can certainly call our helpline, that number I gave you earlier, 215-765-9040. In those instances, that's when we're working with our community partners, oftentimes senior centers and other nonprofits in the city, where they're focusing on those intergenerational programs. We want to make sure that we're connecting those young adults to programs that support older adults as well. So we are constantly looking for opportunities for intergenerational programs as well, oftentimes partnerships with our senior centers.
So listen to this. Someone says, Sister Marva, they call me Marva here. Where do we find the PCA? Do you have any part-time positions available for seniors?
We absolutely do have positions available. There's two ways to contact us. Call that helpline, and that's for individuals that are looking for the Senior Employment Program. We're happy to connect them, complete our assessment, see if they're eligible for the program, of course, and then try to get them connected to other agencies that are looking for mature workers to meet their needs in their agencies. So we're always looking for individuals that are ready to continue working. You know, they may have retired already or thinking about retirement or maybe scaling back or just maybe need to work a few extra hours during the week. So we're in those instances looking for individuals to fill needs of other nonprofits and agencies across the city in the Senior Employment Program.
Same phone number, 215-765-9040. Okay.
That is correct. That is correct.
I asked you all of this because oftentimes people retire and they think it's a bed of roses and they're bored out of their minds. And when the mind goes, so does the body, right? So my husband's grandfather, when I met him, he was 99 years old. That's how I was introduced to the family, 99-year-old birthday party. And he was a postman for many, many years. And when he retired, he volunteered with the seniors. and live
Yes.
to almost 102. So, you know, keeping the mind active is a wonderful thing. I love the mission and vision of the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging, and I'm glad that you are there and hanging out. You know, you came in a pandemic. Lord have mercy. We hope you stay way past. Oh, someone texted me and said, I'm cracking up because I always say the only gang I hang out with are the kiddies and my elders. Is it true? They're the nicest group. The
You
children
know
and
it.
the elders, the nicest group of people without the ego. They're just a wonderful, wonderful. You're welcome, Gloria Gainey. They're texting me on Facebook and letting me know. So I just gave them 215-765-9040. Is there anything else we need to know, Mr. Orr? And thank you for joining us in Philadelphia.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two other things. First is that last path that we typically follow, and that's advocacy and protection. We want to make sure people understand we're a resource in that avenue as well. And that's for services like the Ombudsman program. If people have concerns or complaints about the long-term care services that they're receiving, we want to make sure you call us so we can connect you to a resource that'll support, hear your concerns, hear your complaints, and our role is to try to address them. We also connect people to legal counseling and support. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention our Older Adult Protective Services Unit. That's where people can anonymously call us if they have concerns about elder abuse. And it's our role to then investigate to see if there is any type of abuse, neglect, financial exploitation, or abandonment, and then try to mitigate that risk and really put some supports in place for that older adult to make sure that they stay safe.
Same phone number that they can call for that.
Same phone number.
All right,
and
listen.
The older adult elder abuse hotline is 24/7. She can call us anytime.
Okay, 24/7. So they 215-765-9040. Naja Orr, thank you so much. Okay, your name, I like it.
Thank you, thank you.
Where did it originate? American?
Actually, my mom got my name out of an African name book, and I love it.
She did well.
I love it.
She did well. Do you know what it means?
My first and middle name, Naja Ranako, means born handsome. So you got me blushing over here now.
She picked well, Mr. Orr. She picked well.
Thank you.
Oh, it was such a pleasure talking to you. Please come back and join us again because we have a lot of seniors that listen to WURD Radio. We had quite a few of them this past Friday. So you are an excellent resource. So every time something else is going on with PCA, please feel free to call.
I certainly will. I certainly will. Thank you for having me. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
You too, sir. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was such a good interview. I love talking. Listen, the elderly, I love the elderly. I make no bones about it. And I love the babies. You get to about 18 and I'm looking at you sideways like, see, now you think you're too grown and can't nobody talk to you. So, you know, we're going to get there. I am on YouTube, y'all. I finally came over to YouTube. I'm looking at the comments. I see Maurice is over here. I'm going to say something. Hey, I tell you, I've always said that I wanted to run all these screens, so I'm looking at it now. All right, so I'm going to take one call and then I'm going to go to break and then I'll take another call. That was a great conversation with Naja Orr, who is the president and CEO of the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging. Tons of services, and many of it is being sponsored by the Pennsylvania Lottery. So for those of you who are not quite seniors yet and you like to go buy that lottery ticket, you know, the dollar scratch off, the $5, the $10, all of that is supporting, a good portion of that is supporting the senior services. The phone number to call over there is 215-765-9040. They have all kinds of things. Senior centers, they bring the food to you. You know, they have employment programs for mature workers, older services protection units. They have ombudsman program, advocacy and protection. They come in to check in your homes to make sure if you need anything done, more than likely you will not have to pay to have your bathroom retrofitted, et cetera, but it seems to be an excellent program. And so for those of you who are listening who fit the profile and would like a little bit of help, there is no shame to the game. You have worked all your life to become a senior citizen. It is not a punk that becomes a senior citizen. Aging is not for punks. You hear what I'm telling you? And so you get to that age, as someone who grew up in Jamaica, we are taught to revere our seniors. We love on you. We respect you. We make sure you have what you need. And so the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging, 215-765-9040. Please call them and let them service you in any way possible. Let me take the break so that I don't have to interrupt the next person that I'm going to talk to. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Tune in to More Than That with Gia Peppers live this Sunday, June 20th at 1 p.m. or wherever you listen to podcasts. This Juneteenth episode of More Than That is sponsored by General Motors as a part of their commitment to becoming one of the most inclusive companies in the world. Everybody in.
Olaniyan Adefume's goal is to assist families and students that are tired of the destructive input by the coronavirus. If you are interested in a math tutor, Olaniyan is offering small, reasonably priced classes that will focus on the PSSA test. Classes start June 21st. The students will have lessons, tests, homework, and a textbook to keep with PSSA exercises and explanations. Knowledge is power. Call Olaniyan Adefume, 215-678-3830 for pricing information and location.
Want the latest in WURD swag?
Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm laughing at myself. I have got all these screens up, and I'm responding to people's text messages as they're listening. So I think you better call Tyrone. Hi, Tyrone.
Hello, Mother Earth. How are you?
I am. Listen, I am still on a natural high from meeting all of you and talking to you on Friday. Thank you so much for showing up and being so kind. So kind. What's up, my brother?
Well, Mother, I just think today was just a love fest.
Yes, it was.
For all the different opinions, different stories, different slants when we call, it's just to see that we all was one family at that moment. I'm just telling you.
Yes.
I got it. Well, you know, one thing about the WURD family, whenever they do activities, events, you know, you just see there's just this love that really shows.
You are so right, Tyrone. Let me say this, Tyrone. Give me 1 second because I need to acknowledge this. Joss Duncan, Monica, I'm looking in her, Tezra. I mean, they were just everybody. You were so right, Tyrone. Everybody jumped in and did what they needed to do. The WURD membership line was swinging around a corner. People were signing up. I met a Jamaican who was like, I'm from Jamaica. I came and I wanted to say hello, big up my sister. It was amazing. It was just good. So you're right. It took a team effort to get everybody there, and I think everybody just popped up and did what they were supposed to. It was a beautiful time. And
look, Croatia and all of
Croatia, yeah, my girl Croatia and Sarita, yep, they were all there.
Whenever WURD have something,
okay,
when they walk to the door and walk to the desk, they get greeted with such enthusiasm.
Yes.
Such love. I'm just telling you, everything that WURD does, it just turned out to be a love fest.
Yep.
So, first of all, Mother, it was very, very nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too, Tyrone.
You know what? God is so good because you are everything you are when you are on the radio. I mean, you just open up, you're compassionate, you're concerned, and you allow folks to be who they are.
Yeah, I do.
And I'm just telling you, that's just one of the blessings that many of us don't have, that is allowing others to be who they are. So I definitely want to point that out to you. And I want to say to Germantown Joe, my brother, when you meet her, it's going to be a real, real treat.
Oh, did you weren't there when Tiffany was playing Stevie Wonder? I wish those days could come back once more. And I got out there in the middle of the floor, and one of the older gentlemen got up and he started dancing with me, and we were rocking it out.
Yeah,
Do you hear me?
y'all was
The
rocking,
entire
you know
song.
What? I was on the other side giving out my scoops. Oh, and Jeff Brown, you know, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Thank you for being who you are.
Yes.
Because whenever you go to events that are held at his facility, he is right there, just like one of the folks who were visiting.
Yes, he was, and was taking pictures with us too. Yep.
You know, so it's all about being real. It's all about being real. And I'm gonna end with this, mother. You know, ladies and gentlemen, man, I was listening to Dr. Umar on Brother Barnes' show last night, and you know, we have so many things that we are contending with. I mean, just like, you know, thank God for Brother George, who's, again, I call him inside politics. Yes. He gives us the inside of the politics. My good brother Maurice, you know, Maurice talked about, you know, how the people need to be involved and how these folks, you know, got to understand the people. I mean, we just have a variety of folks, you know, and Prince, you know, just trying to, if we can pull all of this stuff together, God, what a world.
And that's what I'm talking about. We can, the amount of power we have collectively is being dissipated by the infighting. And it's something I want to have stop. I really want it to have stop, right? You know, the karma needs no help from us. If you are no good, karma will fix you. It'll show up.
And mother, that's why we saying thank God for you. Because just like the compassion and the enthusiasm you just showed with PCA, that's the same kind of compassion and appreciation you show with our young people. Yes. And I'm telling you, you know, my last place of employment was Yorktown Arms Apartment. I was the social service activity coordinator there, and I did a lot of work with PCA. But you know what? I never could imagine that working with our elders would have been so
rewarding, isn't it?
Oh, yes, reward. I mean, you know what? It made my job so easy because our elders are always willing to help. Our elders are always willing to direct. And when you need a shoulder to cry on or a pillow to lay your head on, our elders, is always there for you.
Yes.
So
agreed.
We got the ingredients, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we do. We just need to get ourselves together, Tyrone.
You know, we just got to stop doing what we're doing to one another. And then all these folks, again, who are doing this killing and, you know, disrupting the community, I'm not blaming it on no commissioner. I'm blaming it on those who are doing it. Yes. And I can't understand that. I can't understand why people are saying somebody is responsible for the ill and the demonic and the, you know, crazy and madness that other people are doing, that somebody else is responsible for that. No, those who are doing it are responsible, and we need to deal with them.
Agreed.
Thank you, Mother.
Agreed. Thank
for
you,
always allowing me to share.
You're welcome, my brother. Take it easy, okay?
Okay, take care.
All
God
right.
bless.
Bye-bye. Hey, Tyrone. I think he's gone. I got your picture up in my. I got your picture up on my in my office.
All
so
right.
I look at it when I sit in here every day, and my office is filled with stuff from all different kinds of people. So it keeps me motivated. So thank you. So Tyrone, what part of Philadelphia did you grow up in?
Well, my first 10 years, I grew up in South Philly. That's why I know about the I-95. You know, but I moved when I was 16 to North Philly, and North Philly has not only been where I live, but every job that I have had, and I had about the Berean Institute, the Negro Trade Union, the Board of Education, every job I had, our Neighbor Civic Association, everything has been in North Philly. So I'm South Philly born, but I'm North Philly bred.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Call over again tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yes, indeed. God bless you.
All right. Bye, honey. Bye-bye. Mr. Loris, how are you?
Hi, Mother. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You remember, I'm your crybaby.
Oh.
You asked me why was I crying, Mother. I was just so happy to meet you.
Oh, my gosh. You made me cry, too. I cried a river. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was just crying. Oh.
But, Mother, I wanted to ask you whether you have heard of a young lady that's an author. Her name is Ashida Irene.
Ashida Irene. No. Why? Tell me what.
Ashida Irene.
Irene?
Irene. I-R-E-N-E.
I-R-E. Irene. Okay, no. What do I need to know about Ashida?
I wanted to, Mother, I wanted to, if you could, to have her, talk with you on your show. She wrote a book. She wrote a book called Tears from an Unsuccessful Suicide Attempt. This is the name of the book.
Oh, my God.
And she is a young lady, Mother. And she wrote this book, I guess it was after her brother was murdered. And when I saw it, her mother grew up with my children. And I just wanted, to have her talk about this. Because she is a young lady, and to write a book on something like this, Mother,
So, Mr. Loris, do me a favor. Do you have a pen and paper?
Yes, I have it.
All right, because you knew I was going to tell you this. B Brown. So B again, ROWN. So it's B Brown at WURDradio.com. Okay?
Wait a minute. Let me get it right.
Okay.
It's Brown at Word.
Stop. It's B. You're going to do two B's. B.
Okay.
Brown.
Okay.
B. Then BROWN at Word Radio. Excuse me. WURDradio.com.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, Mother. Because
you're so welcome. It was a pleasure meeting you.
It was, Mother. It was so. I mean, it was like the greatest thing.
Is she gone, Mike? What happened? All right, Brian. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you? It was a pleasure meeting you. How are you?
I am so good. I hear you're a brand new WURD member, sir.
No, you know what? I was a member way back in the day.
Okay.
But I just came to get my new membership, and it's a pleasure meeting you and everybody else down there.
Yes.
So, and the thing about it, we as Caribbean people and American, because my kids are American, we need to unite together because there's no separation between us. We've all been through the same struggles. We've all been colonized. We've all been, through whatever we've been through. So, so you can't say the Caribbean people or the African, because African people also been colonized in their country. That is enslavement in your own country. You know, and the miseducation is everywhere. So we need to overcome all that and educate ourselves.
Wait, Brian, are you the upholsterer?
Yes, I am.
I'm telling you, I'm loving that. Listen, I pulled out your thing and I said to my husband, I'm going to go find a piece of furniture. And I'm going to go to Brian. Because, see, in Jamaica, my sister was just talking about this. My sisters and I talk every Sunday. And the one that's living in Jamaica, she took a whole furniture set that she had up on the 3rd floor, and she reupholstered it. And she said, I'm going to give it as a wedding gift to my son. And she said, it looks so good, like brand spanking new. In America, we just dispose of the stuff. On the islands and other places, and maybe in other places in America, people do this. You reupholster. And so we get a sturdy piece of furniture, and then we just keep reupholstering it. So it was such a pleasure talking to you on Friday, sir. I'm calling you, though. Don't worry. It's coming.
No worries. No worries. But so that is great. And, you know, you can, you know, have your frame built, or you can, you know, design whatever you want to. And we people need to be educated, because some of the stuff that they sell are not real. It looks good 2-3 years, and then you throw it out.
And it's gone. As we say in the islands, it's fenke. Don't count the nothing with it. Yes.
So it's a pleasure meeting you, and hopefully we'll all get together one day.
Yes, sir. Sooner rather than later. All right. Talk to you soon. Nice meeting you. Thank you for renewing your WURD membership. You're appreciated. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Miss Viola, darling, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I can't complain about a thing. I enjoyed myself on Friday. I just came home yesterday because I went to the flower show.
Oh, so you stayed overnight. Okay.
Oh, yes. I stayed at my cousin's over in the Frankfurt area. I can always find somewhere to sleep when I need to.
Yes.
And but it's always usually a relative of one of my daughters. But I just wanted to be sure that you read the label on the bag.
I did. And my entire house, Viola. First of all, my whole car smells delightful. I bring the bag in. I said to my husband, oh, our whole house is going to smell delicious. Thank you so much.
I usually take a bag. I usually take those scented rocks to someone's house if I've never been there before.
Yes.
And it's a way of me getting business, because I did that once before, and the next thing I know, a lady found me through Messenger, and I delivered rocks to her in Philadelphia. But my husband and I started doing that back in 2003 or 2004, and we were part of the first group that was in the Love Park, the African Americans, for Christmas that year. And, you know, I still sell them. I just don't do vending with them, because most people want to buy food instead of rocks.
Right.
So, you know, but it works out fine. But I take them as a gift. I put some of them in a jar, but I didn't have any jars with me.
Oh,
but it's always
so
the
let me
label
tell you,
says,
some of the oils leaked out through the seal in the bag, and so my whole car. Oh, it's not. Listen, it smells delicious.
Well, make sure you wipe it, because it's oil. Well, you don't want the oil if you have leather.
Yes.
Because the oil can be bad for leather.
Yes.
So you want to be sure to wipe that up. But you know, you can take the tissue and put it in a plastic bag and leave it in there, because I have small little 4-ounce jars that I make as car fresheners, so they're, you know, they fit right in your cup holder in your car. And but I just wanted to be sure that, you know, you follow the directions and put it in a glass dish. And the only thing you do is just shake them up. It wakes them up, and add more oil when you need to. And
I didn't see any oil. I didn't see any oil. Where can I get the oil to buy?
Well, most of the time I tell a person, if I'm not available, they can get the oil from, you know, any of the local places that sell oil. But that particular combination I gave you is apple, orange, cinnamon. So you won't find that anywhere, because my husband made that by accident.
Oh, wow. Apple, orange, cinnamon. It smells delicious. I love citrus scents, and so that worked for me.
He made that particular scent by accident, picking up the wrong bottle of oil. But it works well, and it's very good for the house, and especially if, you know, people that smoke or whatever, and excellent for the bathroom. So, but I just wanted to say that I enjoyed my time at WURD on Friday.
Yes, ma'am.
And hopefully they will have something again on a small venue. I don't think I'm going to make the Juneteenth because I don't want to be in large crowds. Even though I went to the flower show yesterday, but I went between 10 and 2, and it was a perfect time because it was not crowded. So I enjoyed it. But
I won't be at the Juneteenth thing either because I'm speaking at another Juneteenth event that same day around the same time. So I unfortunately is going to miss Michael Court because that's a brother that I really appreciate.
Oh yes, I listen to him every Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I appreciate him, and for all that he has accomplished, he has no ego. You know,
yes,
not like that where he's ripping folks apart that way. I love that about him. So we get along, him and I, very well.
I'm friends with someone that worked in his office, so
yes,
I know a little bit of everybody somewhere, everywhere.
And that's why it behooves us to always. I started the show, Miss Viola, talking about ego and pride and how those two things have caused such an issue. Such an issue when we get the responsibility, and it's not just city council, it's not just the mayor, it's not just the police commissioner, it's us, it's all of us. All of us have a certain level of leadership responsibility, and we have to put our egos aside, brush up on humility, and use that as we're dealing with people. If you saw me in Fresh Grocer on Friday, what you hear on the radio is what you see in person. I love upon people. I'm excited to meet folks. I'm hugging them. Put my little thing. Thank you for the Lord. I just love you all. Love you all. Because
but
I learned Go ahead, honey.
Andrea, the one thing that's wrong with us is that we grow up and we leave our homes from our parents and we become adults, and we think that because we're adults and we're grown, as they say, we think we're right about everything, and we're not.
Yes, and we posture so much. Why are we posturing? Why are we ripping each other apart and posturing? Don't we have enough crapola happening to us as a people? The posturing is making me nuts.
Absolutely.
Nuts.
Yeah, and if I don't agree with you, I don't have to say anything against you. I just don't say anything. As my grandmother used to say, the tongue is a real weapon, but silence is golden.
Yes, and if you choose to open your mouth, do it with fidelity. Do it with fidelity. Help people around you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Miss Viola. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, and have a great day.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Bye-bye. So Denise Solomon, Brian is in the business for the upholstery. When I go to break, I'm going to find the book with his card in it, and I will give you his phone number so you can call him. He is in business in Germantown area. The brother is good. He's decent. And I interviewed him one time before COVID struck last year. Maybe late 2019, early 2020, and I knew then that I wanted to use his services, and then I lost the stuff because I was running back and forth to the studio. It's just a lot going on, but he's good. He's really, really good, and so I can't wait. I know I have Carlos on the line waiting for me. Let me take a quick break, and then I'll give Carlos my undivided attention. You are listening. Got you. To the Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Let me say this to you, Rashad Bey. I see your message inbox. I actually have, I think Prince dropped off 2 or 3 copies for me to give away to WURD listeners, so I'll make sure that you have a copy. Michael, Prince dropped some books off for me a while ago, some months ago actually. I just didn't want to come into the studio to get them. See if you can put one aside for Rashad Bey. All right, and we'll work it out. Oh, he has them. Michael has them. Okay, so Prince dropped off a couple of books for me to give to WURD listeners who would want them at no cost, and he did it months and months ago, and I, just have not been able to. So put Rashad Bey's name on one of them, please, B-E-Y, on the inside cover, Michael, please, and then we'll figure out who the other 2 people are. We will be right back after these messages.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. A second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
At Equitable Advisors, we know the path to a fulfilling future begins with getting to know who you are and what matters to you most. We work with people as individuals, not dollars and stats. That's how we deliver on our mission. Talk to us today, Ryan Smith and Jacob McCoyle at 800-879-9016. Together, you can plan for a future that reflects all of who you are. Equitable Advisors, LLC, New York, New York, 212-314-4600, member FINRA SIPC.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I can't believe it's almost 3 o'clock. It's amazing to me how quickly the time goes by. Oh, and I didn't even pull up so busy responding to people on the break, I forgot to get hold on, Miss Denise Solomon. I'm going to get it at the next break for you. Carlos, how are you, sir?
How you doing, myself, sir?
How are you?
Yeah, I think, I was out there. I saw you and Sharita and Simon Jones.
Yes.
I'm the guy that had that. I'm the one that had on that great book bag. That was
yes.
me.
Yes. How are you? Good to see you.
So you saw me, right? You see me?
I did. Oh yeah, I did. I have all my pictures up on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So when will be the next? When will be the next great event that you'll have online?
Lord have mercy. When will be the next WURD event? I don't know, sir. But I promise you, as soon as I know there. Wait, no, wait, hold on. There is a next WURD event. Hold on. I'm going to tell you in one hot second because I saw it in my lineup. Do not hang up. The next one we're having, I think it's Solomon. It's going to be a live event with Solomon. Hold on. Let me just make sure that it's here. June 16th. That is on Wednesday. JD's live on location broadcast with Wake Up with WURD. Solomon Jones featuring the Go to Know campaign with a focus on Father's Day. So that's JD's live on location. I don't know where that is. June 19th, Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. special broadcast. Michael Cord is the host. I'm sure they will, and other special programming. So yeah, so the two live ones will be June 16th at JD's for Solomon Jones. At JD's. Are they talking to you while you're talking to me, Carlos? Tell them you're talking to Marva.
No, I'm talking to my brother. He just walked in.
Okay. So on Wednesday at JD's live on location, we'll Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. He's on live. Okay.
So where will it be? Where will it be again?
It's at JD's. I don't know where JD's is. There's no address here, so let me find that out. Michael, can you see where JD's is so that I can put it on here so folks know what where JD's live is? Because that makes sense. I don't have it here, so I don't know where it is, and I don't know here where Michael Cord is going to be on June 19th. It's not in here in the lineup. But yeah, there's one coming up on Wednesday, so just keep listening to the radio, and I'll make sure that you get it. Okay?
Okay.
All right, my brother. It was nice talking to you.
All right now.
All right, bye-bye. All right. So you guys still have an entire hour to pick up the phone and call me. I know a couple of people called and hung up. Please call me back. I have some time for you now. Let me read a couple of things for you. Why is the Tribune telling me I have only 3 articles left? I paid for my membership. I paid for my Tribune membership. Stop messing with me. As virus cases wane, governors weigh ending emergency orders. David Lieb, this is written on June 13th, so it came out yesterday. New coronavirus infections and deaths in the United States are down dramatically from earlier highs, though contagious variants are spreading. Most people are now at least partially vaccinated, yet lingering hesitancy has slowed the pace and even caused some doses to go to waste. So is the COVID-19 emergency over, or is it continuing? That's the question facing residents and business owners in many states as governors decide whether to end or extend emergency declaration. that have allowed them to restrict public gatherings and businesses, mandate masks, sidestep normal purchasing rules, and deploy National Guard troops to help administer vaccines. In many states, those emergency declarations have been routinely extended by governors every few weeks or months since the pandemic began. But those decisions are getting harder to make, and the extensions harder to justify as circumstances improve and state lawmakers press to restore a balance of power. Already, governors, lawmakers, or judges have ended emergency declarations in more than a half a dozen states. That includes South Carolina and New Hampshire, where Republican governors halted their emergency orders this past week. More could join the list soon. About half the states had emergency orders set to expire before the 4th of July, and over a dozen additional states have open-ended emergency orders which can be canceled at any time by governors. Massachusetts has been in an indefinite state of emergency for 15 months, but Governor Charlie Baker said that all will come to an end on Tuesday. That is tomorrow. He credited the state's high vaccination rate with helping turn the tide in the fight against the coronavirus. So let me say this to all of you, because I'm seeing y'all are fighting on airplanes. I see it. I see it. I see it. You're fighting flight attendants. You're fighting, and many of you want to get out of here. You're itching to get to an island. Let me be very, very clear. When you go to some of these islands and they still have emergency mandates in order, do not leave these United States and go to the islands and start pushing your weight around and saying, why do we have to have a curfew because I'm vaccinated? The point of the matter is this: many of the folks on the islands have yet to get a single dose of vaccine, and they want to make sure that their people stay safe. The 5 or 6 or 7 days that you walk around carrying the COVID with you because you can get sick from it because you're vaccinated, you could leave it there and somebody could die from it. The islands are oftentimes trying to still figure out how they navigate and move around tourism and making sure that they're under curfew because they're vaccinated and they're being arrested. So take a tip or two from mother. Cease and desist, as we would say in Jamaica, kibba your mouth, right? And follow the policies and the guidelines of the country that you're going into. President Biden is about to take 500 million doses of vaccine and donate them to other countries because they're sorely needed. This is a first world country. You want to make sure that you don't take your stuff and dump it off on other folks and leave them there dying and suffering and struggling. You are to support their tourism, but you're also to listen to what they say to you when you go into their country. Don't go over there and act a fool. Please don't. You are listening to The Source. No, I have 5 minutes. Hold on. So let me go. Let me see what else is going on here. Michael says, Lord, George, how you doing, George?
Fine. How are you doing?
I'm so good.
Everything was very well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, very lovely, and everybody was very happy. That's the main thing. And my favorite person is Miss Vicky and Sarah's mom. Everywhere, every time they give something, I make sure I see Sarah's mom. She's a lovely person. She's romantic, one of a kind. Andrea, the one part you forget is that I have parent transit. A lot of people have mental disabilities or some sort of disabilities, and we have I think it's maybe 120 or more computers. And the biggest gangsters, computer gangsters, social media gangsters, is people with mental disabilities. I mean, not mental, but they got some kind of disabilities. Either they got abused or ran. It's just they got the people who sit behind that thing. They be talking some real tough, Tony stuff. When you look at it, you be like, "This guy, that's him." You really laugh, So when people sit there and FaceTime, whatever they do, I don't know, and talk about people, just look in the terms that, they have some type of mental disability or they was pushed around all their life, and they get behind that. They say some ugly, wicked things, boy. But if you fall into that, then you just as sick and weak as they are. Let me say this here, Andrea, is that it was
before you go any further, let me thank you for taking the time to come out on Friday. You called here. You and I don't always agree. I'll be fussing at you about. Right. I be fussing at you about, don't call people names, et cetera, but to see you walk through that door and walk over to me to say hello, it made every bit of me happy. You know what I'm saying? Just thank you. Thank you for understanding that it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So continue what you were saying now.
I love it, Andrea, because you're not petty.
Nah.
And it's like when one leaves, another is to replace. You're the one who's like stepping in the shoes, which big shoes of Mary Mason. When Mary Mason left, nobody wanted to follow the blueprint that she gave. Nobody wanted to do anything she did, but she was successful for 30-something years. That tell you something. Everybody wanted to change. Everything she did, they wanted to do different. She didn't play with elected officials. They wanted to play with elected officials. She didn't play kissing up. They wanted to kiss up. That's where all this kissing up come from after she left, because she did not tolerate that. Call a spade a spade. And, you got what you got. If it's too hot, get out the kitchen. And people respected that. A lot of the people who knew Mary are long gone now, and the ones who are here, they can't respect talk radio because it's become a joke. Kissing up, not doing anything for people, and not on the issues of what's going on in your community. That's what talk radio is about. It's called two-way talk, not one-way talk. A lot of hosts make it one-way talk. Either you want to talk about what they're going to talk about, you're going to think the way they think, or they're going to just totally disrespect you. But that's why they don't have advertisers, or they can't bring revenue to the station, because it's all about them. And I told each one of them that, I said, what you need to do is get your revenue up, opposed to running your mouth. Get some revenue up. Get some people to advertise, because people only listen to what goes on in their community and their interest. Let me say this here too, Andrea, is that, the funny thing is that you had some clown, somebody, I don't even know who it was this morning, it was on the radio talking about $100 million. What do you know?
So George, hold on. George, hold on. Let me take my break so that I don't have to cut you off. Hold on one second. All right, let me take a quick break. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Coping-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
With everything going on, there may be times you feel like you can't handle it all. Journaling, meditating, and talking with friends and family can help you feel more grounded and better able to cope. Your kids are also going through a lot of new experiences, and simply talking with them about their feelings can be quite powerful.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
In 2019, the Pennsylvania Juneteenth Initiative hosted the largest Juneteenth parade and festival in the history of America, attracting over 25,000 participants. Join us and WURD for a live broadcast on Saturday, June 19th, 9 a.m. at 52nd and Haverford, the Spectrum Healthcare Building. Then join the march to Malcolm X Park in support of making Juneteenth a national holiday. Meet and greet WURD personalities, support black vendors, and let your voice be heard. See you Saturday, June 19th, 9 a.m. at 52nd and Haverford. Juneteenth.
Financial Literacy on WURD is brought to you by WSFS Bank. When you bank with WSFS, your money stays right here, helping the communities where you live and work. WSFS Bank. We stand for service.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. All right, George, we can talk now. All right, you were saying something about $100 million?
I was saying that if a woman says no, what does it mean?
No.
Okay, so if a person tells you no, it means the same thing, right? No means that they're not going to do it.
Right.
What I'm saying is, though, you had this crazy person. I don't know if it was a caller, guest, or whatever. It don't even matter. The point is, you got this idiot keep asking for $100 million after the mayor had said in city council during the budget. He said it public. He had said it like 3-4 times. How many times do the man has to say that he's not giving anybody $100 million?
Who was asking for $100 million, though, George? I need you to clarify for me.
Pardon me, I don't even know who the organization or who for this anti-violence foolishness they're talking about. Man, they can give you $200 million and they ain't going to stop it. But the mayor, in some words, explained that why you're not going to get it. Because JEVS, right?
Okay.
The Jewish Education Vocational System. They get the money. Okay?
The Jewish
then
what? Say that again.
Pardon me?
The Jewish what?
The Jewish Educational Vocational System. They're the ones who get all that money, okay? For all that anti-violence, behavioral health, all that. They get like almost close to like $300-400 million a year. And the Archdiocese gets money. Now, if you want to talk about Kensington, anytime you've got a complaint about Kensington, that's who you talk to. People don't know that. I've been listening for months of people complaining about Kensington who know better.
Right.
But they know they better not never say anything about that Jewish organization or the Archdiocese.
Okay.
I'm saying it, and I'm telling you where the money's at.
Okay.
Because I'm getting sick of people keep talking about Kensington this and Kensington. Go to the people who have the money to straighten it out. The Archdiocese get all that money for behavioral health and all that other stuff, all these programs. If you just look on their website, or, the Jewish, education vocational system, that's where the money's at. Follow the money. Stop running your mouth talking stupid. And it's people who know better, but they want to keep black people dumb, so they can keep running their mouth, acting like they know something. If you know something and you so avid about Kensington and how dirty it is and drug addicts, go to the people who have the money who can straighten it out overnight. Let's not waste too much time on that craziness there. Let's move on to this thing about dirt bikes. It was Michael Nutter who stopped all that when Honda and all these people, these different bike places, they was going to put one up in Logan. They was going to put one down there under the expressway where all the sewage and all that was at. They was going to turn that into. The bike people came here to do it. Michael Nutter said, no, under no circumstances, as long as I'm mayor, will ever happen. And it killed it right then. So, thinking that it's going to happen under this administration is not. They're going to take those bikes, fast as they get them, they crush them. And all this stuff about, they're going to find something else to do. If you could spend $3,000-4,000 for a bike.
But, George, if we're talking about stopping crime and violence and giving the young people something to do, swimming
Who says that? Who says they're trying to find something for young people to do? Who says that? You heard anybody who issue money say anything about what they're trying to do for young people?
And how do they ignore the young people, except to stand up, except to stand up at a press conference and talk about how many people have died, and nothing to show for it?
Andrea, remember what I always tell you: it's a nice photo op for when they run. That's all. And like I say, if you want to stop the violence, all you got to do is like I say. But everybody want to doubt what George is telling you. Until you get those fools who did all that running their mouth, which all that blood is on their hands, but they too embarrassed and they think they got too much pride to go sit down with another man and say, look, man, we ran our mouth, we said something we shouldn't have said, was very offensive, and look, let's tell the cops to go back to work, start making the rest do whatever it is they do. But when that man told you that he's going to come a time that you're going to beg for the cops to come in your neighborhood.
Yes.
So far,
he called over here and said just that, George. He did.
Right. He got the ball, he got the bat, he got the glove. Let me tell you something else, Andrea. All those people was in there. 5 of us seen McNesby and his 3 Negroes and his other 2 guys, the other Spanish guy, they was right in Fresh Grove saying nobody say nothing to him.
Wait, right McNesby wasn't, wait a minute. McNesby wasn't Fresh Grocer?
He went over there and got fish. What? He got fish, meat, Prince, and all of us standing. We looking at it like, really? He went.
Why didn't he come over and say hello? I'm saying.
I don't know. You got to, listen, I don't get into grown folks' business. Why, what, when, whatever they do, why he was there. I mean, what is it? Apparently he must have wanted a fish sandwich. But he sure enough went over there. He got a fish sandwich, and the other one had a big plate of food. And they was like, okay, we here. And nobody said one word to him.
Wow.
Jeff Brown said something to him. He was over there laughing and joking with him.
Who?
So, I mean, it wasn't like he was hiding anything. But I'm saying,
I did not see him at all. I did not see him at all.
The host didn't say nothing to him. Some people spoke to him, put their hand up like that. Then he bowed his head. You know, his chin didn't go down too far. You know, but he did all that.
Had I known he was in there and I walked over and had a conversation with him, you know I would have.
I know you would have. But you know what? None of those hosts went over there. None of them. They didn't go over there, and I'm quite sure they seen him, or they all acting like they didn't see him.
Well, you know, because my issue, I have some questions for McNesby. I want to talk to him. I want sight unseen, no judgment. I just need to talk to McNesby. And I know he probably will not call into this radio show, but I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him.
Andrea, if somebody said what them fools said, somebody said to me what they said to him and the mayor, trust me, it would be a problem. You don't disrespect people thinking that you're getting a laugh or you showing them that your testicles is whatever you want to say, you bigger man and this and that. Because at the end of the day, you don't have nothing. He has everything. And the commissioner, she's 10 times worse than he is, okay?
So let me ask you this. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
But hold on, George. Let me ask you this, because McNesby has been a polarizing figure. It's the only way I can put this in Philadelphia.
That's right.
And has been the head of the union for a long, long time. How can we
keep getting reelected?
So then the question becomes, because somebody said we have to start bending bridges and building, scaffolding, right? So how do we start to have those kinds of conflicts? That's what I want to sit and talk to him to say, what is it that we are missing in this city, sir? And what can we do to make a difference on behalf of the citizenry? Because a cop called in, a retired cop, and he said, we're not doing anything if we don't have to do it, because we don't feel safe and we don't feel appreciated. The very thing that you said here weeks and months ago, and everybody told me you were crazy. But you see, George, every time you all talk, and not just you and Prince, but every time one of you called in here, I go back and I do my research. I ask the questions. This is why I don't talk to y'all crazy out of the side of my neck, because I ask the questions. And the people that would never come on the air and say X, Y, and Z sit in a room and say to me, yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Everything I say, it comes out of their mouth. Just like the mayor got.
I believe it. I believe you're sitting in some of them diggity-dang rooms. I'm telling you.
Right. They sit there and they laugh about some of the callers. They laugh. They actually laugh at them. They laugh at the host even more. But then they say that's what they do. They got to do what they're told. They do what their boss said. Just like I tell you that people will never open their mouth. They're going to keep their mouth shut. You ever hear them open it? And you won't hear them open it. They better behave, okay? Just like I told you. And you watch. This summer's going to be the worst summer you ever seen with killings, shootings. It's going to really be out of control. And you know what they're going to do? The elected officials are going to keep taking pictures. They're going to keep having press conferences, telling you what they're going to do. Tell me what any of them has done. Nothing. And the police commissioner, all she do is come on in with her pitiful self. We need your help. You're the police. We're supposed to help us. You're talking about
but in fairness to her, George, don't you feel like they gaslighted her the second she hit Philadelphia?
No.
Are you telling me this? Come on, George. Are you telling me? Are you telling Mother? Listen. Are you telling Mother she came here and they had her best interest at heart when she walked through the doors to become commissioner of Philadelphia? Are you telling me that?
It ain't about somebody having your best interest. She listened to Brian Abernathy, okay, instead of saying, no, I want to pick my own people. All the people that was put around her were sabotagers because they wanted her job. They wanted to see her fail, and she didn't have enough sense to get rid of them. We sisters. We for sorority. That foolishness. And everybody who went to her and told her, you better get rid of them people around you because they're no good. When Brian Abernathy got fired and left, she should have got rid of every last one of them, from the sweeper, driver, everybody. Get rid of all of them and bring your people in. She didn't bring none of her people in. She got all them lollygags, them sit around talking that sorority foolishness, and the woman's crazy. If you ever have a conversation with her one-on-one, you'll see that her elevator ain't all the way there.
That's not nice, George.
That is not nice,
George. That's not nice,
No,
George.
no, they don't. No, it ain't about nice. It's about the truth. Everybody wants. That's why she gets away with what she gets away with, because everybody want to pay. Oh well, they talk about.
Yeah, but George, you know what? But you know what, George? Harold said something. Murder is up across the country. I mean, you couldn't get past
That's
the
the
weekend.
problem. Everybody talk about what's going on across the country, but we're talking about Philadelphia, how it could be under control, but it's not under control. Okay? Because why? The cops not doing nothing, and they don't care. They only do what they have to do, and they try not to do that. And listen, they're doing what their boss tell them to do. Okay. I mean, the commission ain't, listen, they get investigated every day. Internal Affairs get so sick of that stuff that they even wore down with it. Yeah. They even wore down with it. I mean, cops tell you. They're doing no more than they have to do. 8 hours. If it's overtime involved, they good. Homicide, they get 3 times the salary and overtime.
I had a whole cop said that to me. He was like, listen, I'm retired. I'm going to tell you now. And so it's going to be all right. All right, George, I got to get off now.
Let me say this here. Let me say this here. Mm-hmm. Until people stop, praising their elected officials and hold them accountable, you're not going to get anything. They actually laugh at you. You're the laughing stock. And if you look at your elected officials, all of them put on 100 pounds sitting on the couch eating Haagen-Dazs ice cream and a piece of cake and drinking a Slim Fast. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the way it goes. They got so out of control that just look at them. They look like Gordo. Just look at them, Andre. I'm telling you. And all they do is sit there, eat, and laughing at their constituents. All they do is listen to talk radio. You ever hear them call in and say I'm wrong? And
all right, so George,
he gets a break today, but I'll be back on him tomorrow.
So what's your solution, George?
What's my solution?
What's your solution to all of this foolishness? Huh?
I just told you. Vote them out of office, all of them. And the fools that sat there and caused the problem, they're the only ones that can solve it. Because the idiot, the mayor, he don't want to hear from nobody but the fools who said all that tough Tony stuff. And McNesby, he's going to make them crawl, squirm, and everything. And eventually, the public's going to make those idiots who went and said all this foolishness, they're going to call them out and make them go. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to be embarrassed, because they're going to say, because of you idiots, all this killing was going on and the police wouldn't resolve it.
Right.
They don't care what we say. Them cops care less, because they're doing their job. They get there 15 minutes late after a shooting. First thing they do is put up the tape. They don't go try to find no evidence or nothing. All the cameras in the city is working. You think they they get a warning and look at the camera? Nope. Yeah. And look, I ain't defending them. I'm just telling you what it is.
Yeah, I got you. I got you, George. I got you.
Fresh Grocer, everybody was talking about the same thing. Everybody know who these clowns are. And then you got this idiot asking for $100 million. They're going to stop violence. The mayor told you no, and you keep getting on these getting here. I don't even know why people listen to them. And think that they put black people on the thing and saying, well, we're supposed to get $100 million. You're not getting a dime. You're not even getting $10. You're not even getting a roll of quarters, which is $10. You're not even going to get that. Okay? So stop going around in the mornings or evenings talking about this $100 million, because you're not getting a dime.
All right,
George. One dime.
See, thank you.
Have a good one,
you give me heartburn. Goodbye, George. George gives me, Father, George gives me heartburn. Somewhere along the line, whether you all choose to believe me or not, people say that's not his real name. I'm not interested in that. I've heard that for months and months on end. I'm not interested whether George is his real name or not. Not interested. What I'm interested in is that somewhere along the line, he's sitting in some rooms, because when I go back and I check and I ask, he sounds crazy, but he's sitting in them rooms. So just be aware of that. But crazy as y'all think he is, somebody has him sitting in those rooms while they're talking, and he's coming back, and that's why they're not calling in here fussing and calling. Because when I ask the question, they're like, yep, he over here, yep, we do that, yep. I wish somebody had told me McNesby was there, though. Mr. McNesby, if you're listening, or any of you people listening, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you, sir. Yes, I do. So if you don't want to come on the radio and talk to me, send somebody to send me a message. Send me a Morse code. I will meet you and have a conversation with you, because there's some things I have to ask you, sir. There are. All right. So, Jacob from Olney, how are you?
Peace be unto you. Look, I'm about ready to fall out with what I just heard. Because to me, you lift the guy up and don't charge him for calling your people rabid dogs, right? And having meetings with the Proud Boys, and you don't talk bad about him like we got to kiss his butt? What kind of crap is this? I mean, you're telling me that as a taxpayer in Philadelphia, I got to go. You done made McNesby some kind of Klan god? That
Are you talking about George?
I ain't even got to call no names. I'm just saying because I don't want to stoop that low. But you know who you are. You know what we just heard, right? And I'm not falling for that crap. That you got to go kiss a person who chums up to the Proud Boys, I repeat, called our people rabid dogs that got to be killed, right? And you going to lift him up and beat your sister down who came here when we was killing ourselves anyway, came into a problem? You going to beat her down? That don't make no sense to me. And I'm saying, you know, it's talk radio. And my mother taught me, God rest her soul, an opinion is like a body part. And she ain't say body part. Everybody got one.
Everybody got one.
But here's the deal. If you think that let's look at what happened the other day with Bibi Netanyahu, right, in Israel. You don't go back to the old way of doing things. This is a new world order coming in. That's the old world that I just heard about, where you got a pecking order. You got to kiss somebody's butt to get service. We pay taxes. Do we have to kiss anybody's butt to send in our taxes every year? Or they take taxes out of our money every time we go to the store? And you look at how much your bill is and the taxes there? So don't give me that crap. The hell, excuse me, with McNesby and his racist butt. I want to say another body part, but I'm on the radio. But that makes me sick. That makes me sick when somebody that says you in our corner and you tell us to go kiss his white butt for us to get some services that we need. The cops, they ain't going to do that. Well, they'll lose their job. But then Jacob, they're not losing their jobs. They're not losing their jobs. I'm hip because why? Because we're not doing the right thing. McNesby should, if you think that, again, that he don't have that much power. He got more power. We giving it to him. And hell, if we give it to him, he need to take it. But don't tell me that we got to go and kiss his butt when he called my people rabid dogs and he had lunch with the Proud Boys and they had their little party, beer party, and that kind of stuff. And you tell me for us to get services in our community, we got to kiss his butt. I ain't going for that.
So that's the messaging that you're getting from the conversation that.
Well, yes, you know where it's coming from because that's the only place it's coming from, and I don't go with that. That's not. We didn't spend 400 years over here to go kiss some white supremacist butt, so we can get what we need. I don't care what it is. We'll do it out before we do that. And please don't ask me to do something like that because you insult my intelligence. So my thing is, we gonna get the job done, sister. But believe me, we don't have to go bowing and scraping and kissing nobody's butt, okay? That's an insult to me. And it's an insult to my people. And I say that I'm not going to beat my black sister down because she's the head of the police. When I'm not going to beat down this white racist.
But Jacob, I have asked this. I've had this conversation, and I've been having it now for weeks. When I say, so what happened to all the crime that was happening before the police commissioner got here? Why is it so important that we hold her accountable? And if we know that she didn't have the right people around her, why didn't we support her in getting the right people around her? Right?
Sister Andrea, this is a national problem. Look at Detroit. Look at Chicago. Look at the major cities.
I said that.
But this is what I'm saying. So why are we going to blame her for what's happening on a natural it seems like it's almost a natural occurrence in our hood where we got to do some work. Black people, damn McNesby. We got to do the work we got to do. And believe me, I repeat, and I'm done, because I'll just be repeating myself, we ain't going to kiss no white racist butt to get our hood. We'll go back to what it used to be. The brothers, like the brothers when I was in the Nation of Islam, the FOI, the other brothers, the ones that wore the green, the angels, right? We'll get together before we kiss his butt, and we'll take over our hood. But we ain't doing that. And please don't ask us to do that, because to me that sounds real silly. And stop beating your sister down and lifting up that bum. Thank you.
Bye, Jacob. Lord Jesus. I tell you, I can always depend on you all calling in here and giving your opinion. And this is wonderful. This is what this is for. Everybody gets their space to talk about what's happening with them. All right. So I have Miss Lola, and I don't want to cut her off, and I have Jane. So let me do this. Let me see this. You know, we've not talked much about this because, again, people disagree. I just want to make sure that it doesn't show up and make noise. But it's not. Oh God, come on, people. So all right, so I'm gonna cut that down. The Philly Pride flag explained. We somehow think that there are no black people that are LGBTQ, and sometimes we don't want to talk about it. They're a part of our families, and we cannot ignore them. And so why does Philly have its own pride flag? Who made it? What do the colors mean? Michael, let's see. All right, I'm going to take all these people when I come off a break because I want to make sure that I don't cut them off. Just give me a second, guys. What do the colors mean? Everything you need to know about the More Colors, More Pride flag. This was written by Ben Dean, June 12th, and this was the Philadelphia Inquirer. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, sir. Each June, people in cities all over the world celebrate Pride Month and recognize the struggles, dreams, and accomplishments of the LGBTQ community throughout its journey to equality. Pride Month commemorates the 1969 riots at Stonewall Inn in New York after police raided the bar and arrested many of its LGBTQ patrons. The community fought back and let their voices be heard, and it sparked a movement for equality, visibility, and fair treatment for members of the LGBT community that continues today. Here in Philadelphia, there's lots to celebrate and recognize. The LGBTQ rights and liberation movement has had a long history here, from the historic sit-ins at Dewey's Restaurant in 1965 to the annual reminders at Independence Hall from 1965 to 1969, a precursor to today's Pride marches. But at the same time, it is important to remember that the fight is not over. In Pennsylvania, there is an effort to ban transgender kids from playing sports. There is no hate crime legislation for LGBTQ people, and violence continues, especially against black trans women. In 2017, Philadelphia took a bold step towards LGBTQ representation with the introduction of the Philly Pride flag, our own version of the popular six-colored striped rainbow pride flag. The Philly Pride flag adds two new stripes, brown and black, to the top of the rainbow. The flag put Philadelphia in the global spotlight, and it's seen widespread use around the world since, appearing on Nike and Converse sneakers in the second season finale of the FX show Pose and more. Even the new Everyone is Awesome Pride theme Lego set included black and brown stripes as part of its design. But for a lot of people, the multiple variations of pride flags may seem confusing. What does it mean? Why does it exist? If you have questions, you're not alone. And so they say... let's see, I just want to make sure. I did. All right, this article is long. I'm going to go back to reading it when I come back from the break and take some more of these phone calls. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Streaming live on WURDradio.com. Y'all are wearing me out. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Financial Literacy on WURD is brought to you by WSFS Bank. For more information on boosting your financial know-how, visit the Knowledge Center at WSFSbank.com. WSFS Bank, We stand for service.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune in to More Than That with me live this weekend or catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. On our very special Juneteenth episode, we're talking to Griot Marsha Music, writer Baratunde Thurston, and image activist Michaela Angela Davis. More Than That is brought to you by General Motors. Visit GM.com to learn more about their actions and commitment to becoming one of the most inclusive companies in the world. Everybody in.
Well, our stories are our history. It is of ultimate importance that we tell our stories because often our histories are ignored. You know, the places where most of the time people read their history, we're not going to be there.
I would love to see people in this country speak about the history, the more complete history. I think it adds more meaning to the things. So I want us to be less fearful of the past, more honest about it, and push through that shame so we can transform it into something better. Because when you're living in this limited and false story of yourself, you're not free. You're living inside of a lie. That's a cage. That's a cage of deception. So let's all get free. How about that?
You know, I want to expand our liberation. This ain't just for us, this is for this whole nation. I think we have the capacity to understand that when one family member suffers, the whole family suffers. What I hope for Juneteenth, for the entire country, I wish for everyone to understand that our freedom are inextricably linked to each other. You are not free if we are not free.
One thing we all have in common is aging. So age boldly by staying healthy, active, and independent. With Philadelphia Corporation for Aging, you can. PCA supports older Philadelphians with care in the home, nutritious meals, protective and legal services, and more. Through the pandemic, we safely helped older adults by delivering more than 2 million meals and easing social isolation. Get the help you need to age boldly and actively with PCA. Learn more at 215-765-9040.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Miss Lola, how are you?
Yes, Mother, how are you?
Ooh, child, they're making me work hard for the coins today.
Well, listen, you just came off a vacation, so they're giving you a run for your money for probably like the next month or so.
How are you, sister?
I'm good. I'm so sorry I missed you. I hope I'll see you. I hope will you be at the Juneteenth event?
No, ma'am. I am already slated to speak at another event for Juneteenth, so I will not be there.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope to meet you. I'm sure they'll have more things in the future, so I can't wait to meet you. So I was just calling in because I'm working, and I hear, George and everything, and it just, I don't know. I don't want to tear down our brothers and sisters, but Jacob, said a lot, and I appreciate Jacob for calling in and saying that because he, for all the time that I've been listening to WURD and became a member, George has been on the straight and narrow about everything he said. He has not changed his path or anything. But this is the thing. There is no type of solution in what he's saying. So it's just like an angry person talking over and over again when we are still in the place that we still are in. And this is not encouraging to people. If you listen, if you're out there listening and you don't have a job and you don't have things going on or your life is in shambles or whatever's going on in your life, rent is due, mortgage is due, and you listen to George, you might just jump off the deep end of the bridge.
Wow.
Because the thing with him is there is never anything, and I'm not saying that there is something good to say or anything about what's going on in Philadelphia, but we need to find a way to make it better. We of course, we have to keep voting. We have to make sure that we hold the city council and the people that are in office accountable for what they're supposed to do in their job. But all the time, if you're sitting in these rooms, George, why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you taking them to task about the things that they are doing? We all know and we've heard that one person can change something. One vote matters. If you say something to somebody, you never know what you might get back from that person. You're not even trying. All you do is come on the radio and say, this, da-da-da-da-da. They don't care. They laugh at the listeners. So they laugh at the callers. How does that make us feel to hear that you're sitting in a room with, obviously, I don't know, are they all white? Are they all black? Are they mixed people that you're sitting in this room with that have some type of authority, and they're laughing at us? They're laughing at residents of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania who are trying to find answers, who are trying to live a better life, who don't want to live in crime and violence, and you're just you're just accountable as much with them. Don't keep calling and not having some type of solution. Like you asked them, what can we do? We need to go out there and march. Can you give us some pointers? Can you take something from these meetings and maybe send something? We hear you all the time on the radio. You talk to Michael Cord. So why don't you give him some answers? Why don't he send you an email or talk to you offline and say, these are the things that you need to do? Believe me, if I was in the room with these people, I would be taking notes. I would be saying, listen, Mother, Michael Cord, I heard this, I heard that. I don't want to say this online, but these are the things that we need to hit these people. These are the places and the points that we need to get these people at. Listen, we all know that the police are tired and they're not doing their job. But Mother, I want to say this to you, and I listen to you every time you're on. I just listen to WURD like all the time, and I listen to you when you talk to that cop. My thing is this: I have a job to do. I get paid, right, at the job that I have, and if I don't do my job, I might be let go. I might get on some type of suspension or probation or something like that. But if I eventually don't do it, I might be let go from my job. And I understand that the police officer's job is very taxing at this time. But you don't have the right police officer to get on this radio station to black people who pay your tax, who through our taxes pay your salary, and say we don't want to go and do our job. You picked that job. And so that is your place of employment. And when you leave that place, you have a family, you have a wife, a husband, or whatever, children or whatever. And, you know, he sounds very, I wasn't feeling that police officer, that McNesby is a nice guy. So now we are, just like Jacob said, we are now bigging up McNesby. We have to go and talk to McNesby. No, we have to run him out. We have to stay up, keep fighting, we have to keep voting, and we have to keep vigilant. And listen, if we fall down, where would we be if our ancestors fell down? We have no excuses. Our ancestors fought for us to be here, to have the things that we have. And I just want to say to George, please, you know, I understand you call and everything, and you want to sound like you the big man and you know all this stuff or whatever. Well, bring us some solutions, because I'm ready to work. I've been ready to work. I'm ready to march. We want to get out here. We want to take city council to task. We want to take the police to task. We want to have everything that we're supposed to have as black people. There are black people, Mother, in these working class neighborhoods who pay taxes. They should not be shortchanged because the cops don't want to come in and do their job. But they want to do their job in Jenkintown, where I live. They want to do their jobs in Chestnut Hill, East Mount Airy. Let me tell you something. When you go up there, you don't see the crime. You don't see the trash. And that's part of Philadelphia. So please, as all black people out there listening, let's come together and find some solutions and stop saying they're laughing at the callers and all that stuff. No, we're calling because we want some answers and we want help and we want this to change around, or we wouldn't call. Do you think people calling just because they want to sit there and call and hear themselves? I just want to waste my time and call Mother and call all the people on WURD because I just don't have nothing to do. No, people are at their wits' ends trying to get out of this crime, the drugs, all the stuff that they're trying to gentrify all the neighborhoods and move black people out. We're trying to turn this around.
Yeah. You know, Lola, I read something this past weekend where they were talking about building spaces for the drug addicts in Kensington and moving them into Mount Airy, you know, into the neighborhoods and into the suburbs. And
no, they stopped that.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Okay.
I read the thread and started to pay attention to what was being said. And so the black folks were saying, look, when we were going through all of this stuff, you know, nobody wanted to take us in, and now you want to find spaces for these folks. The white folks were like, well, they need help, and research has shown blah 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 blah. Here's the thing that clicked with me. Somebody got on, and I think it was someone white who said this. Most of the people that are in Kensington on drugs live in these communities up here in Westmount area, Eastmount area, coming out of these big houses and in the suburbs. And so this is the place where they need to come back and come live and find their solace. And so we constantly, there's solutions. Nobody agrees fully on what the solutions are going to be, but we have to have some. You understand what I'm saying? So in my mind's eye, I tell George all the time, I say, can we talk about this without, maligning people? Because then you lose your power in your voice when you start calling people's names. But that's George, and that's the way he is. And I'm not, he will have to deal with with how people respond to him. I just give him the voice so I can talk to him. But I got to tell you this. The conversations that I'm having out in the street, I want to talk to McNesby. I need to talk to McNesby. I need to talk to him. And I've been around police officers for a long, long time, almost 3 decades. And I got to tell you, there's something here. And until we find out what that thing is on the inside so we can figure out how to navigate through it. Because all we're doing is beating up against the door. And how do you all talk about running McNesby out of town. How do we run McNesby out of town? When the cops continue to vote for him to stay where he is.
Well, Mother, can I say this to you? When a person shows you who they are, you're supposed to believe them.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to get from McNesby then? Because he's shown us he runs with the Proud Boys.
Yep.
He's endorsed Trump twice. He had VP Pence, Mike Pence up there.
Yep.
Okay, yes, you can talk to him if you want to, but don't be upset or disappointed when you don't get what you want, because he's not going to change his stance. He's
yes,
not
ma'am.
Change who he
I got
is.
it. I got it. But I can't say. I can't. Just trust Mother on this, right?
Okay.
I'm not going up in there with a list of expectations. I'm going up in there to see something. Okay? I need to have the conversation, because when we don't know, we understand that people are saying that the root of this is racism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we are so emotional because so much damage has been done, right? That there has to be another way around this. And so some water, some plant, some some do whatever they want to do.
I want to say this. I know you have to let me go, but there are other unions. The black union, I think it's called the Garden Civic League, and there are different unions.
Having conversations there
okay,
too.
well, that's what I'm saying. We need to get behind them. We need to get them. They don't align with McNesby. Most of the people that are in the union with McNesby are retired white police officers, and police officers who don't live in the area of Philadelphia.
And black ones too, Lola.
The Garden Civic League.
Yep. And black ones too. There are black ones behind McNesby.
Well,
Trust me. It's crazy as hell. So we have to figure out what is going on. And so just for me, because I hear all this conversation, and so in my head I always have to take the I over E. Look at this in a particular way, and try to figure out what the solutions are. Because I can't keep having this conversation on the radio day after day after day after day, and nothing is changing. That cops, retired cops are calling over here saying we exactly what George is saying is happening. We're not doing our jobs. So who's holding them accountable? And while we're holding accountable the ones that are not doing their jobs, how are we supporting the ones that are doing their jobs? Because we tend to forget that. We tend to lump everybody into one big thing, and we get so emotional, and rightfully so. I'm a black woman with black sons, with a black husband, with a black father, with black brother-in-laws, nephews, etc. I feel the pain. There is under no way am I negating that. But we have got to figure out a way to work around this and through this. You hear what I'm saying to you? Otherwise, 10, 15 years from now, the same conversations will be happening. The same conversations will be happening.
Well, I believe that you will do the best that you think is right. And so when you go up in that room, you make sure that you have the objective that you want to have, because we do need more solutions instead of this day by day, blow by blow of how horrible and how the people are just doing whatever they want to do. We need to get to the core and the solutions of how we can change this around for black people.
Yep.
All
End
right,
of story.
Mama, thank you.
End of story, my Miss Lola. I love you, my sister. You continue to listen.
You too, Mama. Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. Lord, I'm telling you, hold on. Jesus. Jane from Southwest. How are you, Jane?
I'm good, Andrea. How are you?
Some days I wonder at the fallacy of not being on this air.
Right.
What's going on?
I tried to get in when the gentleman was there from the Corporation for the Aging.
Yes.
I want to talk about the food, the lunch program they have at these senior centers.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Now, I've attended 2 in the past in Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them, the sodium content is mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And I do believe that packaged food should have a caloric amount of how much salt and et cetera is in the ingredients.
Right.
And the ones I've seen, they have no label.
Did you get the phone number to call in, Mama?
Not offhand.
All right, so get a pen and paper because I want you to call and report this. They can't fix it. Yes.
Right, a lady came. It was just a regular visit. She came out, and I mentioned about it, and she quickly diverted the conversation. I think this is illegal. I'll take that number, please.
215-765-9040. And tell them tell them exactly what you told me because they need to call up to the main office and let them know about the salt content because as seniors and really for any of us, hypertension runs in our family, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So you want to make sure that we don't have that kind of salt content in our food.
Right. And also I want to talk about one of our council people, Jamie Gaudier.
Yes.
She needs to come on out to Southwest. Everything I hear from her mouth is about what they're doing in West Philly. That she's the council person for West and Southwest, a portion of it. The why can Southwest have been included in this June 16th event coming up?
Okay.
I've been trying to get a meeting with her through one of her assistants, Andrew. So many things are happening in West Philly that nothing is happening here. We want to have a meeting with her in Southwest. And I'd like for Maurice and all these other callers from Southwest and myself to get together and demand that she step up to the plate here in Southwest Philly.
All right. So, Councilwoman Jamie Gautier, you have a constituent that is having a hard time. She wants to see more of your presence in Southwest and not just in West Philadelphia. And Ms. Jane, please don't forget to call PCA's hotline 215-765-9040 and report the salt content to make sure you guys continue to stay safe. Okay, my sister?
Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. All right. Bye-bye. Let's see. To the young lady that called about the upholstery, I finally ran in the commercial to get the book. The phone number is 215. Michael, write this down for me so in case she called back. 215-272-7661. Again, that's for the UBID upholstery. Brian is the owner. 215-272-7661. Okay? All right. So I'm going to take another quick break, and this is going to be the final segment. I know I have a couple of people on here. Hold on. Let me just see who I have left. Michael, where are you? I have Youssef. All right. So hold on one second. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
AARP proudly presents Black Music Maker Moments. HBCUs have contributed tremendously to the legacy of black music. Howard University gave us Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. The Commodores came out of Tuskegee University. Thanks to onWURD University, there was Take 6. Thanks to HBCUs for their contributions to excellence in black music.
Black joy comes from the sound of our souls, and our sound has kept the world in tune for decades. From the way we express ourselves naturally to the rhythm we add to the mix, Black music is so powerful it inspires and influences the world. AARP is proud to celebrate Black joy in all of its forms beyond Black Music Month. Visit aarp.org/Black community to join the celebration.
The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter. Welcome, Black. It's time to reawaken, reopen, and renew as WURD kicks off our annual 4WURD Early Bird Membership Special. We've stood together every step of the way during the pandemic. Here at WURD, our hosts and producers, elders, parents, children, teachers, doctors, and community leaders stood up, shared resources, and supported each other through the airwaves, virtual events, and of course, the phone lines. We've stayed connected by every means necessary. Let's welcome the new season, the reopening of the city, and our new normal together. Stand with WURD. Start or renew your sustaining 4WURD membership for the special price of $75. Or if you just want to support the work we're doing, there is now an option to become a digital 4WURD member for as little as $5 per month. Visit WURDradio.com/earlybird between now and June 19th to take advantage of our early bird membership special.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Brother Yusuf, how are you?
Good afternoon. Ooh. Yes, I just wanted to say that Miss Lola and Jacob, yes, they was on time. They was on point. Now, I'm a person who didn't start calling into talk radio into the 2000s. I've been around talk radio since the 1950s, since I was a little baby. I didn't know what I was listening to at the time, but I caught on to it as it went along. In the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, I was walking the walk. I shut down the foster care, the foster home that I spent 15 years in. They lost their license. That child placement agency that placed me with those criminals, they've been defunded. They don't longer exist. It's a school where that place used to be. Glen Mills School for Boys, where I was sent.
Glen Mills, yes.
Where a crime was committed against me, and they sent me in prison, in the penal system. It's gone. YDC Coleman Heights is shut down, where I was sent at. YDC Philadelphia is now the new Edison High School. That's the things that I've done. Being persistent, including helping stop the gang wars in the neighborhood I originally came from, known as Franceville. And I came back and I said, what are you dudes doing? They said, we fighting Torval Papacy. We fighting this gang. I said, for what? Because they're the enemy. I said, who told you they were the enemy? But that's the way it is. I said, no, that's not the way it is. You're going to stop this stuff. So I went in that playground with 18th Francis and I talked to them dudes. I said, they're not your adversary.
Right.
That's the way they want you to think. You got to stop this stuff. And I made them go down to those neighborhoods and stop that stuff and call peace treaties. That's what I did. And then when 2000s came, I started calling Reggie Bryant and other programs, Brother Rob, because I had walked the walk. I had made a change. People call in criticizing Commissioner this and Superintendent that. But what change did they make? They made no changes. They want to criticize somebody because you ever heard of the word misogyny? Some people hate women. And you listen to them and you can hear it in them. They just hate women. They don't want women to be in charge. It's a woman that's a superintendent of the Philadelphia prisons. And I'm most happy that it happened because the things that them dudes were doing to other men in the prisons was ridiculous. And finally, they got a female superintendent, and a lot of that stuff has mellowed out. And that's what they don't want. They don't want change. They want things to be the good old boy way. It's going to stop. And when it stops, then they can't praise those who they worship, like that McNesby dude. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for calling, and I appreciate you. Marie from Mount Airy, line 1. How are you?
I'm doing well, Andrea. How are you?
Lord.
appreciate you. That's all I have to say is I appreciate you.
Thank you
so
so much,
my question is this, Andrea, is I know that you talk to so many. Do you have, or are you composing a book of contractors?
I have some. What do you need?
Plumber, electrician, and general contractor.
All right. So I have a good plumber. What I'm going to do is, so give me until tomorrow for the show. I'm going to pull their numbers up and I'll send them to you. They're all black folks. I believe the general person is Chinese. Really good though. But the plumber, the roofer, even the guy that does the pointing in the driveway, all black folks. All right.
Wonderful.
So let me pull the list together. And when I was at the Fresh Grocer on Friday, I gave them the list of the black doctors. When I say I'm not playing, we're talking solutions here. Let's figure out how we're going to support one another.
That's right.
And in business. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So do I call back tomorrow?
Call back tomorrow. I'm going to make sure that I have the list for Michael. I'm going to text it to him. So when you call back, you don't have to talk to me. He'll just give you the numbers.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You have a
wonderful day.
You too, my sister.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Whoo, Father. Lord, I'm telling you, my Lord. So there's a couple of pieces I'd like to read to end the show here. News break. It was posted by WHYY 6 hours ago. And it says, that ain't justice. Case backlog, jail conditions frustrate people in Philly's criminal justice system. Post-pandemic life is on the horizon in Philadelphia. And on Friday, more than a year after the Department of Public Health recorded its first positive case of COVID-19, the city lifted its final two mitigation measures, the indoor mask mandate and the 11 p.m. last call for restaurants. And the move came, and we're our people. Why are we always, my friend Michelle always used to say, we're not on the handle of the toilet, we're in the water, we're being flushed. And we've got to figure out a way. So I want us to stop fighting so much. The move came roughly a week after the city removed all capacity limits and social distancing requirements for businesses and events. However, the impact of virus-related restrictions is still being felt, especially when it comes to Philadelphia's criminal justice system, which remains saddled with a significant backlog of open cases as city courts work toward fully reopening. Preliminary hearings and jury trials were put on hold for months. The bottleneck, though, less severe than it was during the first 4 months of the pandemic, continued to slow the wheels of justice for people locked up pre-trial in city jails, which are the subject of an ongoing federal class action lawsuit filed over conditions. More than 90% of people incarcerated on State Road have only been charged with crimes. Really? This closing of the courts brought our justice system to an unprecedented grinding halt, Acting Chief Defender Alan Tauber told a City Council committee during a budget hearing last month. It is unclear whether the backlog, which currently eclipses 12,000 cases, will be erased. Tauber's shop, which represents the majority of criminal defendants in the city, has an internal goal of clearing it by the end of the year. But that's assuming arrest rates remain consistent, which could shift given the historic surge in shootings and homicides. At the same time, neither municipal court which is responsible for putting on preliminary hearings, nor common police court, which is responsible for putting on jury trials, have reopening dates on the calendar, though both are conducting proceedings virtually and in person. Between March 1st and May 27th, common police court completed a total of 21 jury trials. In 2019, it conducted an average of 28 jury trials each month. Lord have mercy. Municipal court has the ability to schedule a comparable number of felony preliminary hearings now as it did pre-pandemic, according to a spokesman for the 1st Judicial District of Pennsylvania. The district could not say how many preliminary hearings were actually being completed each month, now or before the pandemic, versus being continued. George Jackson, a spokesman for the Defender Association of Philadelphia, said an average of 64 clients per day had their preliminary hearings in May, compared to an average of 56 in May 2019. Moving forward, our aim is to continue to gradually and safely increase the number and type of cases we're able to hear. Ongoing efforts to provide the vaccine to as many Philadelphians as possible continues to be crucial to that end, Gabrielle Roberts, spokesperson for the 1st Judicial District of Pennsylvania, said in a statement. What is clear is that incarcerated people, their loved ones, and attorneys are eager for Philadelphia's criminal justice system to find its new normal. So there was that. And then I saw an interview with the New Jersey governor, and I had to go find this this article. Why did it take so long for New Jersey to close the door on a scandal-ridden women's prison? This is in NewJersey.com. It's written by Ted Sherman, New Jersey Advanced Media for NewJersey.com, and Brent Johnson, New Jersey Advanced Media for NewJersey.com. It took a long time for Governor Phil Murphy to decide to shut down the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility, New Jersey's troubled women's prison. But once a scathing report into the continuing sexual violence at the century-old complex was released, the decision came quickly. Senior administration sources speaking on background said closing the prison had been discussed long before the governor ultimately took action on Monday. The decision to shut it down took on added urgency after the detailed look into years of abuse and sexual assaults. My God. And criminal charges against guards, one source said in an offering behind-the-scenes perspective of what sparked the move. This was something on everyone's mind for a while, a source noted, but after the governor's staff and others got their first look at the highly critical independent report by former state comptroller Matthew Boxer, he said the governor made the call to close the site in rural Hunterdon County. You know what my issue is with all of this? These kinds of things are happening all over the place, but we will have a meeting and form a committee and have another meeting. And so this is not just a New Jersey thing. This is a situation that's happening everywhere. And this is how people stall when they don't want to do what is right. But you know, committing a crime and getting put in prison does not mean you're not a citizen of this great country. And so everybody deserves to be treated well despite what their crime was. It is hard for me to absorb as an immigrant here who was born and raised in another place where I was treated with decency, where everybody that achieved looked like me, that we're still continuing to achieve to this day with alacrity, that I have to watch how much we suffer as a people. And so when you hear me say all the time, there are certain rooms that I want to sit in and have conversations, not to suck up to anybody, because you would have to know me to know I don't suck up, right? But to find some answers to some things that have been in my head, but I can't get the answers until I see it for myself, until I hear certain things for myself, so I can form an educated opinion about what should happen next. When I talk about the fact that we are to treat each other well, that we are to spend the time making sure that we're looking for solutions and not just fussing about who's wrong and who's right and who's this and who's that, because we're only falling prey to what people expect of us, which is nothing, right? We are too brilliant. We carry too much inside of us to allow ourselves to continue to be dragged down this way. I'm going to continue talking until I shut this microphone down and you never see me again. But I cannot. It is incumbent, and I feel the responsibility to have authentic conversations that are going to lead somewhere, to find the space where you all are listening to each other instead of talking at each other, and to seek solutions. That when we have leaders that are here to do the work, that we don't drag them down into the mud because we don't agree with what they're thinking and what they're saying. It's a lot. It's a lot, but we've got to do and be better. I love you all. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.